Anything you want to give this message? That's a good idea. Put them on the dais.
I know why I don't do that, John. Because the public comment starts. I don't want something about here to grab while people are talking.
I look over here.
I don't want to cross that camera.
Actually, can we just have like Chase hand them out if they raise their hand?
Sure. Please do that test.
I will keep them around here, and if someone raises their hand, I will.
Okay. Did you leave a few over there too?
I believe so. I'll,
Okay.
I'll double check.
Yeah, maybe.
Mic check. All right, good. No more echo. Do you all, DCCC people have what you need? You're good. If anybody else needs to know, the bathrooms are down that hall and to the left. Just more public service announcements.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, public. My name is Nancy Tung. I am the chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party. I welcome you to tonight's monthly meeting being held at the Pomeroy Center in San Francisco. Today is Wednesday, October 22nd, 2025. It is now 6:43 p.m. and I am calling this meeting to order. Item number 1, Director Chen, would you call the roll?
Thank you, Chair Tung. Calling the roll at, call to order by Chair Tung at 6:43. Calling the roll, Akbar.
Present.
Akbar present. Arce.
Here.
Arce present. Avalos.
I'm here.
Avalos present. Kalamuchi.
Here.
Kalamuchi present. Chan.
Present.
Chan present. Chandler.
Here.
Chandler present. Chen is present. Coles.
Here.
Coles is present. Dorsey.
Present.
Dorsey present. Galata.
Arriving.
Galata is anticipated. Gupta.
Here.
Gupta present. Hare.
Here.
Hare present. Ho
She has proxy.
is a proxy, I
She's
believe.
present by proxy.
Member Coles, your
Member
proxy
Coles.
is proxy. Member Coles is proxy for Ho. Kim, I believe, is anticipated. Kingsbury. Kingsbury present. Lai. Lai present. Mahmood. Also, I believe, anticipated. Mar. Mar present. Philhauer.
Anticipated.
Philhauer anticipated. San Girardi.
Present.
San Girardi present. Two present. Chair Tung is present. Ex officios, Pelosi. Proxy Cuellar, Mullen. Proxy Galisatis. Kounalakis, I believe is anticipated, but possibly. Ma,
On proxy.
present, proxy by Boileau. Cohen,
Present by proxy.
proxy Weisinger. Wiener,
Present by proxy.
proxy Foot. Haney,
Present by proxy.
proxy Ewing. Stephanie is anticipated. Oh, okay, yeah. Proxy Falzone. Chair Tung, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I believe Member Phil Howard, Vice Chair Phil Howard is right. Moving on to agenda item number 2, approval of the meeting agenda. Members, are there any additional amendments to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Member Chandler. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Calamucci. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. Item number 3, approval of the meeting minutes from September 24th, 2025. Is there any discussion or amendments to the meeting minutes as previously published? Seeing no amendments, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the September 24th meeting? Moved by Member Chandler. Is there a second? Second by Member Kingsbury. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the meeting minutes from September 24th have been approved. Moving on to agenda item number 4 is a presentation from our host tonight, the Pomeroy Recreation and Rehabilitation Center. Matthew Snyder, who's the Director of Youth Services. And because we are on Gems on the Move, our meeting has moved from location to location in the city for the last 7 months. And now we are in the southwest corner of the city in the Pomeroy Center. So please help educate the public about what you and your center did.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank you all for being here and giving me the opportunity to speak. The Pomeroy Center is a San Francisco-based nonprofit organization who serves children, teens, and adults with developmental disabilities and acquired or traumatic brain injuries. The Pomeroy provides a welcoming community offering educational classes, recreational programs, vocational services, and with the focus on community integration. Our programs focus on promoting self-development, independence, and meaningful social relationships. We've been around for 73 years, and approximately 150 employees work for the Pomeroy Center. The majority of which are direct service providers that provide care and behavioral health for the individuals that we serve. Our funding sources are 85% from state and local grants, contracts, and service fees, and we are funded by the Department of Social Services and Developmental Services. The remaining 15% of our revenue comes from rental revenue, private foundations, and individual donations. We serve approximately 300 people daily, and 2,000 people a week use our facility. We're dedicated to a person-centered approach, which emphasizes the rights of individuals to make informed choices and accept the related responsibilities and risks, and aims to build on each person's strengths, talents, skills, and contributions. Our staff collaborate with the participants, the families, the broader community, with the goal of identifying what's important to each individual, and encourages our participants to set personal goals, continue lifelong learning, and enrich their lives. We have adult services and youth services. Our adult program is called One Center. It sort of operates like a community college where our participants choose what classes they want to do, either on a semester basis or a drop-in basis. And there's an emphasis on expressive arts, health and wellness, and community outings. In addition, we have vocational services that supports our participants in exploring career interests and achieving community employment or volunteer goals. We provide training, resume assistance, job coaching, peer counseling, and on-the-job training so that we can work effectively in the community. We also have youth services that offers an inclusive environment for children, youth, and teens ages 5 to 21. That program, which I have been a part of for 21 years, emphasizes independence, friendships, social skills, and healthy living. Our programs mainly include an after-school program that runs congruent with the SFUSD school calendar. And then when school is out, we offer camps. We're open 6 days a week and 295 days a year. And we partner with occupational therapists, speech pathologists, families, social workers, the entire community at large to develop adaptive and individualized services and programs. Most people know us for our therapeutic pool. About 2,000 people per month use our pool. It's a warm saltwater pool, and it's one of the only therapeutic pools in San Francisco. It serves 2,000 people on a monthly basis, and is by far our greatest outreach to the community. Therapeutic swim lessons, and exercise classes are offered both to the general public and to the participants who come to the Pomeroy Center. In short, we are part of the social services network that the Democratic Party has a long history of supporting, both on a state and federal level. There are several ways that people can get involved. You can volunteer. The Pomeroy has plenty of volunteer opportunities where you can support our adult or children's programs. You also could hire us to landscape. We have a garden service, and we have crews going out to residences and businesses on a daily basis. You also could employ one of our participants if you happen to know of a job opportunity that would fit a certain individual skill set. We would be glad to partner. You also can take part in our therapeutic swim. Again, it's like a big bath, and it's a great place. And it's also a great place for children to learn. Will learn to swim. We have classes that start at 6 months of age. You also could rent our facilities. Thank you for doing so. Donate if you ever felt inclined, or invite us to your place of business. We love being out in the community, and we'd love to visit. So thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you for listening to me speak, and I very much appreciate the work you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Snyder, for the presentation. I have to say that this is my first time in the Pomeroy Center, and I will make sure that we come back, because this is a beautiful conference area and probably one of the nicest venues we've been in while we've been on the move. So thank you very much. All right, moving on to agenda item number 5, which I believe is public comment. Item number 5 is general public comment, and before I turn it over to Executive Director Esfandiari to provide instructions to members of the public, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone of both the California Democratic Party's Code of Conduct, which we have adopted, and our specific Code of Conduct and policies in San Francisco pertaining to the curbing of sexual assault and harassment here within our own party. The expected behavior here is that we're committed to providing a welcoming, friendly, respectful, safe, supportive, and harassment-free environment for members, employees, and all others associated with the party, including members of the public that attend our meetings. We have expectations about behavior that people will abide by if they come to the meetings. All individuals should feel welcome and safe within any event or meeting that the San Francisco Democratic Party has, regardless of their sex, gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, pregnancy or reproductive status, race, color, ethnicity, national origin, ancestry, religion, caste, creed, age, disability, health status, marital status, military or veteran status, body size, physical appearance, domestic violence victim status, social or economic status, or any legally protected classification or characteristic. The party will not tolerate harassment and prohibits the creation of a hostile environment or conditions that are disrespectful or any other unprofessional conduct based on any of the aforementioned categories. This includes prohibited behavior such as verbal conduct, whether written or spoken, slurs, jokes, insults, remarks, epithets, teasing, yelling foul or profane language, in emails, posters, leaflets, internet postings, slander, etc. Visual conduct, such as the wearing, posting, or distributing of offensive symbols, pictures, cartoons, drawings, and computer displays, leering, gestures, libel, etc. And physical conduct, such as blocking someone's way, assault, invading their space, unwelcome touching, etc. This applies not only to in-person public comment, but written public comment as well. I will continue to remind the public in this body of these expectations at every meeting, as this is an important component of how we maintain respect for one another and our overall public decorum. With that, Executive Director, please go ahead and initiate public comment.
Thank you, Chair Tung. If you would like to make a public comment, please fill out a comment card available at the table behind where I'm seated, or Chase, wave to everybody very aggressively. My friend Chase also has comment cards on him, and he can provide you with one. Bring that card to me at this tray here. I will call speakers in the order that I received comment cards. Please note that this body takes all public comment during this item. Each member of the public will have 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes, Chair Tung?
How many public comment cards do we have right now?
As of last count, we have 47? 27.
20.
30. We're counting in real time.
All right. 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
That will take us to our 1 hour maximum public comments.
Okay. The public will have 2 minutes to address this committee. Associate members, including club presidents or charter club presidents or chairs, members of the Democratic State Central Committee, Assembly District chairs, and regional directors will have double that time, or 4 minutes, to address this committee. I will keep time with a digital display positioned in front of me. It looks like this. It will give off a chime. It will sound when your time has elapsed. Thank you in advance for your patience. I'm going to quickly hand the mic to my colleague Leon, who will say this in Chinese real quick.
以下咧就係呢個公眾發言時間。咁如果大家有興趣發言嘅話咧，就請喺我右手邊嗰度咧就攞呢個發言卡，或者係另外一位工人 Jess 咧就係亦都有發言卡嘅。咁你填寫之後咧就擺落呢個 tray 度咧，咁佢會住按照次序咧嚟到嗌。咁暫時嚟講，主席問咧大約有幾多人咧？佢話大約有30幾人。咁會按照呢個時段咧，我哋規矩咧，大約係每人發言大約2分鐘到。
Thank you, Leon. With that, I will get this thing ready. Great. 2 minutes. Great. And the first comments are here. They are Eileen Boken, followed by Philip Raffel, and then Susan Pfeiffer, and then Charlie Lavery.
Eileen Bogan with Speak, Sunset Parkside Education and Action Committee. Here concurring with Gordon Marr's resolution to oppose Lurie's upzoning plan unless amended. The proposed upzoning plan would bastardize the coastal zone and set the stage to turn Ocean Beach into Miami Beach. Also, for decades, the city has neglected the infrastructure on the west side so that the Terraville Police Station on 24th Avenue and Fire Station number 40 on 18th Avenue have a seismic rating so bad that they will likely collapse in a major seismic event. The city's independent and distinct emergency firefighting water system does not extend to the west side. The San Andreas Fault sits just off the coast of San Francisco and was the epicenter of the 1906 earthquake. The west side is also in the tsunami evacuation zone. Of the 1,100 miles of California coastline, San Francisco's coastal zone is by far the narrowest. This makes it even more vulnerable. The current protections, which are defined in the local coastal program, should be maintained, not degraded. The proposed amendments would do irreparable harm to the coastal zone, and any references to them should be deleted. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, Philip Raffel.
Good evening. My name is Philip Raffel, member of SF YIMBY and Noe Valley Democrats, giving my support to Mayor Lurie's family zoning plan. The plan is crucial to reverse the decades of neglect of building like vital housing for the city and to do our part to make sure that the state can be hospitable to all Californians from wherever people come from. The infrastructure costs are very much on my mind as well. And with more housing, that increases our tax base. More tax dollars to the city is more to pay for infrastructure for police departments and pay to hire more employees to fix dilapidated housing, which I experienced with my current renovation. But I believe if we do not do this, there will be consequences from the state. We are out of time. This is we need to do what is done. You don't complain about an infected limb. You treat the limb. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next speaker, please.
I'm up.
Susan, go ahead.
Let's see this one. There we go. Hi, you all know me, Susan Pfeiffer, a variety of organizations. Whoops, and I'm leaning in. Tonight, I just want to do an update on two things. One of them is Proposition 50. I hope everyone is working on it. I know some of you have been canvassing on the weekends. I'll just hold it, thank you. Some of us have been phone banking. I've been doing it almost every day. So phone banking will become more useful and more important as we get closer. It may be too late to canvass at a certain point. So the last couple of days will be GOTV, where we will, if you've done this before, you know, and for those behind me who haven't, we will be calling voters who said they were voting yes, but their ballot has not been received. We're doing that now because the software now can tell you when ballots are received, and we know who said they would vote and didn't. So that's going to be the mad scramble. But these are the happiest phone calls I've ever made because people want this to pass. My other subject is covered California because open enrollment starts November 1st. And as most of you know, the funding has been cut. The extra subsidies that were part of the Biden administration have been cut. And I was on a Zoom tonight, and even though People want it. It's too late to change the legislation. We are stuck with it. So be prepared. The rates went up about 10%, but I'm available if anyone needs help. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Our next speakers are Charlie Lavery, Sharkey Laguana, Chase Preston, and then Judy Gorski.
Good evening, Chair Tung and committee members. Charlie Lavery with the Operating Engineers Local 3, also a member of Workforce Investment San Francisco, the MTC Advisory Council, and Building Trades Delegate. I want to speak in favor of the Mayor's Family Zoning Plan. The state does require the city to build more housing, and the Family Zoning Plan will help us build the housing we need, especially on the city's west side, so that we can have opportunities for working people and their families to stay, live, and work in the city. The Family Zoning Plan represents collaboration between the mayor and the board and incorporates labor standards that will create thousands of union construction jobs. We don't pass the Family Zoning Plan. The state takes over as developers, will build wherever they want and as big as tall as they want, and without any labor protections or funding for affordable housing. So let's support Family Zoning Plan now and get San Francisco's to work and in houses ASAP. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Sharkey Laguana.
Thank you. We all love this beautiful, maddening city, but for as long as I've lived here, we've wrestled with the high cost, the inequities, the constant pressure of just trying to get by. I've struggled to pay rent. There's been times I didn't have a home at all. As a small business owner, I've struggled to survive, and I've seen my employees struggle to get by as well. The concern that many people have about the Family Zoning Plan is real, and I share those concerns, but I've also come to the conclusion that the Mayor's Family Zoning Plan is an important step forward. State law requires us to have a plan for more housing. If we fail, we lose control over that zoning, and San Francisco could lose $100 million a year in funding for affordable housing, transit, and infrastructure. Cities across California, Menlo Park, Palo Alto, Beverly Hills have already learned the hard way that these aren't empty threats. The deadlines are real, and we have to act before the end of this January. As someone who cares about climate change, we know beyond any doubt that increasing housing density lowers carbon emissions per capita. As a small business owner, I know that creating more housing means more customers for our business and more room for our employees. As someone who works on homeless policy, I will tell you that no data point has a higher degree of correlation to the rate of homelessness per capita than housing costs. And while I know people have endlessly debated whether more housing will lower housing costs, I've never seen anyone make the argument that what we need is less housing. Finally, I know people are worried about losing their homes, but over the past 13 years, out of 420,000 units in San Francisco, we lost just 7 units a year of multifamily housing, and this plan won't change that. It's expensive to build multifamily housing, and it's even more expensive if you have to tear it down first. We can and will work to make this plan better, even after it passes, but we can't afford to reject it. So that's why I'm urging the party to pass this resolution and support.
Oh, that was exciting. Up next, I have Chase Preston. Sorry, this toy is new to me, so I'm very happy with it. No more paper signs.
Ready? Hello, Madam Chair, DCCC, my fellow Democrats. My name is Chase Preston, and I'm an 18-year-old junior at San Francisco State University, which is home to the newest effort to help connect the youth to our political community and help them get involved. San Francisco Young Democrats at San Francisco State, and it's an honor to be leading this charge. My goal and my mission for this club is to help make sure students are in this fight and get them involved in organizing and volunteering and make sure they feel seen and heard by our Democratic Party. San Francisco State has over 22,000 students, many of them which live all over our city and our county. And it's my goal to help connect them to local politics, and as it stands, we have over 55 students interested and over 25 showed up at our first event. And we're looking forward to a few Prop 50 organizing and get out the vote efforts. And I would like to say thank you to a few partners I've had in this effort. First, Chair Tung for helping me inspire this idea. When we met this past summer, you mentioned the Dems aren't on college campuses for a long time. I took that as a challenge and a mission. And I also want to thank Ernesto and Chloe at the SFYD for being great partners in this effort. There's truly no one else that I'd be doing this with, and I'm honored to be working with you guys. And members, I welcome you guys' ideas and your guidance as I work to make sure this club is as impactful and as successful as possible. And lastly, San Francisco State students are begging to be heard by the party, and I would love to invite all of you eventually to come to campus, talk to them, and show them that the Democratic Party actually cares. And let's work to connect the youth, and so we can connect the youth to this great party and make sure we win. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your comment. The next couple speakers I have are Judy Gorski, Steve Adami, Jennifer Fernandez, and then Tracy Akbar.
Please support Gordon Marr's resolution urging the Board of Supervisors to reject the mayor's family upzoning plan until it is amended to address community and labor concerns. The plan as it exists now removes our coastal protections. This deletion, which will negatively impact our beach environment, is absolutely unacceptable and needs to be restored, set in stone, and not eliminated. I have lived in the coastal zone since 1985, when my husband and I bought our waterfront home facing Ocean Beach. We invested, remodeled, raised our family here, and for 20 plus years, I ran a small business out of our home, which served as my art studio and gallery. The mayor's plan needs adjustments to include protections for our small businesses, which will suffer unrecoverable losses. They can expect decreased income from less customers due to noise, blocked parking close to their shops, and broken up streets due to ongoing construction lasting years. Their income loss may affect their ability to keep paying their employees. How will those impacted be adequately compensated? Our community is rightfully concerned about the affordability of what will be built, where it will be built, and if there will be requirements to adhere to labor and environmental standards. High-rises are defined as 7 stories or higher. The plan allows high-rises on every corner of every commercial corridor, meaning high-rises can be built next door to 2-story private homes within the coastal zone, along the Lower Great Highway and 48th Avenue, on both corners of Judah, Irving, Noriega, and Taraval, as well as all along Lincoln and Sloat. Our coastal zone is worth protecting. We need to stand up for it. Please support Gordon Marr's resolution to amend the mayor's upzoning plan and reject passing it as it is currently written. Thank you for allowing me to comment and consider my request.
Thank you for your comment. All right.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Jennifer Fernandez. I love the work I do as a program assistant with Salvation Army, helping people rebuild their lives. But I also have to be honest. I feel underpaid for the work and risk that come with this job. Every day I show up, I give my all to help others, even when it's tough and sometimes dangerous. Yet, I can't even afford a decent place to live on what I'm making. I believe the work we do deserves fair pay, enough to live, to grow, and to feel valued. Because when staff are supported, we can do even more to support our community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. The next speakers I have are Steve Adami, Tracy Akbar, and then my apologies, I think this is Byron Keels or Kells. Great, perfect.
Sorry, I have a crazy dog. Hi, everyone. My name is Steve Adami, and I'm here to support the resolution put forth by Member Akbar. You know, San Francisco is on the comeback, and I want to thank you for all the work you're doing to try to make San Francisco safe, clean, and a healthy place for tourists, families, and visitors. Unfortunately, we've replaced some of the basic functions of government with nonprofit line staff, outreach workers, case managers, housing specialists, and the gap in wages between city employees doing the same work and nonprofit staff is glaring. One of the challenges that's happening is we're taking people who are really shortly removed from the problem themselves, mostly people of color, mostly people who have done multiple prison terms, and we're putting them in the most vulnerable positions in the city. For example, there's around 700 people in programs that I oversee directly. About 85% of those people are working. They're all voters in your district, and they're all in some of the most dangerous jobs in the city. I think any elected official who's a woman on this panel, this committee understands equal pay for equal work. And while we will stand with you and fight with you so that you get what you deserve, we ask that you support Cedric and his resolution and the need to really provide safety and wages for frontline workers. Only 40% of city employees live in San Francisco. 100% of our program participants live in San Francisco, and they're in your districts, and they vote for you, and you represent them. Instead of representing special interest groups and unions, who most don't live in San Francisco, we would ask that you stand with Cedric, Lanier, and Lily and support this resolution. Thank you.
All right, up next, Tracy Akbar.
Alrighty, so I'm here, of course, to represent for Member Akbar's resolution in getting individuals that are working with nonprofits pay raise. And the paying individuals who work for nonprofit agencies more money is a good idea for several ethical reasons, such as practical and organizational reasons. One, attracting and retaining good working staff. Nonprofits compete with the private and public sectors for skilled, dedicated workers, fundraisers, social workers, educators, and administrators. If pay is too low, these good workers may leave for better paying jobs, creating high turnover and a loss of institutional knowledge. And competitive pay helps nonprofits attract professionals who can deliver their mission more effectively. Two, reducing burnout and high turnover. Many nonprofit roles are emotionally damaging, serving vulnerable populations. You know, the individuals that are come off the street that are raw, they're working firsthand, working with these individuals. So also low wages often compound the stress of these jobs, leading to burnout. And paying people fairly supports mental health, job satisfaction, and organizational stability. Also, let's see, increasing effectiveness. Well-paid employees are more likely to stay longer and develop expertise and innovate within their roles. This leads to stronger programs, better outcomes for beneficiaries, and more effective use of resources overall. And lastly, strengthening organizational reputation. When nonprofits are known for their fair compensation, they're more effective to funders, partners, and the public. And lastly, it shows that their values sustainability, professionalism, and accountability is not just for low overhead. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Byron Keels. Wonderful. Thank you, Byron.
Thank you. How you doing? I'm Byron Keels. I want to comment on the Cedric Akbar resolution for equal work for equal pay. A little bit about me. I'm a recovering alcoholic who was near death when I decided that I needed help. I turned to a program called Billie Holiday, ran by Cedric Akbar. And with Cedric and his staff's help, I was able to detox, get sober, and begin to turn my life around. My liver was in bad shape, and I was in remission. I reconnected with my family and am working and ready to work the next wildland fire season. After my successful detox, I was referred to the Salvation Army's Hope House, ran by Steve Adami and Orlando Vargas, where I'm working with my counselor on not only staying sober, but moving forward in my life and my career and permanent housing situation. While in these programs, I have seen clients who sometimes get irate with staff and put staff in danger by threats and active violence, all while staff are trying to help and assist us clients through one of the hardest times in our lives. They do it because they care. They do it because they want to help and give back to a community that they believe in. They know the programs work because they have done it themselves. It's a very dangerous job, but they are there day in and day out, helping selflessly with an open heart. Nonprofit workers and city workers are both risking their lives to do the jobs no one else wants to do, to deal with the people the world gave up on. They should receive the same pay. It's only right, and it's the only way. The work they are doing is God's work, and they should be rewarded for it. Thank you for your time, and thank you for those that have helped me change my life.
All right, a quick public service pause. If you arrived here and you haven't been helped by Chase, and you would like to give public comment, fill out the cards behind me or come to Chase and he'll give you one. Up next, the next couple of people I have are Gary Noakes, Audrey Liu, Deborah Murphy, and then John Crabtree.
How's it going? That's going to be a tough one to follow. That was pretty good. I didn't have anything written, but so I'm here representing the Hope House and Salvation Army. I was also a member of Billie Holiday program, and I would just like to say I'm here to represent Cedric and the proposal for the fair wage policy. And these guys are, I've lived at a few of these shelters over the past couple of years. And let me tell you, there's a lot of individuals at these shelters and these places, these living environments that are in situations, they're on medications, they're fresh out of jail. It's a very dangerous environment. And on top of that, there's a lot of mental health disorder people living in these situations too. So I would like to just advocate for the fair pay wages. They're doing the real work out there, and they help save my life. And I want to say that I've been sober for a couple of years now behind these programs, so it really does help. So I'm advocating for the fair wage proposal. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next, I have Audrey Liu. Up next, Audrey Liu, sorry.
Hi, everyone. My name is Audrey. I'm a resident of District 1. I want to start by first telling you all about a personal story about myself. Back in 2019, I came out to my parents as transgender, and at the time, unfortunately, they did not take the news well. And so it was a big reason why I wanted to leave my home. And one of the places I wanted to go to was San Francisco, not only because of its strong tech sector where I could be guaranteed a job, but also because of its cultural openness to people like me. And since moving here, I've met my community, close friends, and my partner. And in many ways, it has become my sanctuary city. But it is not the sanctuary city. San Francisco has become too unaffordable for trans folks. And quite frankly, anyone who does not have a high-paying job. This leaves trans people with a difficult choice. Do they stay where they are and risk being prosecuted by the state? Do they just stay in the closet and never live their truth? Or do they move here where, despite being open, it's cost prohibitive to have a stable roof over one's head? The family zoning plan is an opportunity to build a bigger table for marginalized people like me. It is an opportunity not just to build more housing in general, but to build more affordable units through inclusionary zoning requirements and making it viable for not-for-profit developments to pencil out. These affordable units are key so that San Francisco can not only be culturally open, but financially open to all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Deborah Murphy, followed by John Crabtree, Paula Katie, I think, and then Carolyn Blakesley.
Hi, I'm Deborah Murphy. I'm the new president of the Coalition for San Francisco Neighborhoods, a collective of over 20 neighborhoods throughout the city. I also live in District 4, and I'm 100% for affordable housing, but I want the amendments that Gordon Marr has put in. The experts say a housing is affordable if it's 30% of your income. That means a person making $100,000 per year should only pay $2,500 a month rent. $50,000 a year, you should only pay $1,250 rent. I've never made six figures. Now, developers are building because they want to make money. The units they build are not going to be affordable for the vast majority of Americans, and San Franciscans especially. On Mayor Lurie's proposal that we need 800,000 units over the next 50 years. If you're a young family, why are you going to move to a place where you can barely make rent and you'll never have a chance to buy a house? Because how do you save for a down payment on a house you can't afford if you're paying $4,000 or $5,000 a month rent? Yes, I'm going to include some affordable housing, but developers pay these fees, perhaps $250 a square foot, to opt out of the affordable portion when it costs over $750 square foot to build affordable units. The truth is you need government money for completely affordable housing, which we need a lot more of. But we also need the amendments. We don't want to destroy what makes San Francisco, San Francisco. If builders get to build what they want, They're going to build a lot of expensive units that most of us can't afford. And there's rich people who will buy it, speculate it, maybe come here once a month for their luxury condo and go live in Paris once. So we have to use the amendments for Gordon Marr as proposed. We need housing that works for everyone, that will really generate affordable housing. Not, you could build all the 5,000 a month rent units you want, but that isn't affordable for the vast majority of San Franciscans. And also, I want to end my remarks with, please support these great workers who are doing wonderful work in the nonprofits. Give them a living wage so they can afford to stay here and do what they want. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have John Crabtree.
So good evening, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is John Crabtree. I'm a resident of District 4. I'm here today to provide comments in opposition to the family zoning plan and in support of Member Marr's resolution. Much ado has been made in the media and the debate around the so-called family zoning plan, points and counterpoints about whether or not the upzoning plan will turn the Western Shoreline coastal zone into Miami Beach. Unfortunately, that debate has become little more than an accusation and denial. But there are issues here that cannot be denied. There are general plan amendments to the Western Shoreline Plan and amendments to create a new local zoning program in the family zoning plan within the coastal zone that is being considered right now before the supervisors and for submission to the California Coastal Commission approval. Whether or not you believe any of these matters have anything to do with the Western Shoreline, turning the Western Shoreline into Miami Beach, it simply cannot be denied that the family zoning plan intent is to bring upzoning into the coastal zone, to create a local zoning program to enhance development in the coastal zone, to create a precedent for upzoning in the coastal zone and create opportunities to develop and increase upzoning in the coastal zone in the future. The Coastal Act states that the coast is a distinct and valuable resource of vital and enduring interest to all of the people, and it must be preserved for future generations. I urge you to support Member Marr's resolution and to communicate to the supervisors that we must remove the provisions that bring upzoning into the coastal zone from the family zoning plan. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, Paula.
Before you start my time, I just want to say, please excuse my shaky hands. I have a little familial tremor, and I don't want you to be thrown off by that.
And be careful about leaning on that podium. It does not have a brake on the wheels.
Oh, okay. I'm Paula Katz, a 30-year District 4 resident in the Outer Sunset. First, I urge you to recommend that when the supervisors hear the mayor's plan, that they hold a committee of the whole hearing so that residents can make public comments and all 11 supervisors can hear directly from the public. Second, I urge you to support item 11, Gordon Marr's resolution urging the supervisors to oppose the mayor's plan unless amended. These amendments should include requirements of affordability, which is not guaranteed in the mayor's plan. There should be 20 to 25% of on-site affordable housing, more 2 and 3 bedroom family units, and 100% affordable units on publicly owned lands. All current rent control buildings should be preserved with no displacement of any tenants. This plan should also be amended to require sufficient parking for all of those upzoned high-rise buildings on transit lines, so their tenants will not have to compete with current residents already struggling to find limited street parking. While many of the new tenants will use Muni to go to work and get around, it's wishful thinking that most of them won't also need cars where public transportation is not readily available or convenient to where they're going. such as driving kids to school and extracurricular activities, going food shopping, out to dinner, etc. Most families in the outer Sunset have cars and need them, and SFMTA is removing so many parking spaces in the neighborhoods for boarding islands, bike lanes, daylighting spaces, etc. It's often so difficult now to find parking spaces in the neighborhoods. Imagine how stressful and time-consuming it will be if a lot of the new renters in the upzone buildings are competing with current residents to find parking. Finally, I urge you to oppose all of the planned provisions that extend upzoning into the coastal zone. Preserve Ocean Beach, the coastal zone, and the western shoreline. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Carolyn Blakesley, followed by Steve Marzo, Anita Lau, and then Larissa Thornton. When you're ready, Carolyn.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Blakesley, and I was born and raised in the Sunset, where I still live in District 4. I urge you to support item 11 on the agenda, Gordon Marr's resolution to oppose the mayor's upzoning proposal unless it's amended. These amendments should include requirements of affordability, including 100% affordable housing on all city-owned properties and 2- and 3-bedroom family units. You should also amend the plan to provide protection for all rent-controlled buildings. The plan should fully fund small business assistance and relocation programs and prohibit the upzoning of any buildings with a legacy business. It also should support union construction jobs with high labor standards. There also should be sufficient parking for the tenants of the upzoned buildings, because while many new tenants will use Muni, many will also need cars to get around where Muni is not easily accessible or practical, such as when they're taking their families to school and extracurricular activities, on outings, out to dinner, and shopping, etc. Without adequate parking, the new tenants will be competing with current residents for extremely limited street parking. Finally, I urge you to oppose all the provisions in the mayor's plan that extend upzoning into the coastal zone. Preserve Ocean Beach, the coastal zone, and the western shoreline. We don't want Miami at the Pacific Ocean. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next, I have Steve Marzo.
Good evening, committee. My name is Steve Marzo. I'm a resident of Portola, and I'm in strong support of Chair Tung and Member Chen's resolution supporting the family zoning plan. I love San Francisco. I work here, volunteer here. I want to build my life here. But lately, it feels like the city I love has been slipping away, and friends I used to see every week have moved to Daly City, Oakland, even Sacramento, just to find a place they can afford. I want San Francisco to be a city where people don't have to win the housing lottery to stay. Supporting this rezoning isn't about changing the character of our neighborhoods. It's about keeping their character alive. It means teachers, small business owners, and everyday people can still call this place home. Without housing, we risk turning San Francisco into a museum of what it used to be. A beautiful city that people visit but can't live in. Let's build enough homes so that the city can keep being a community and not just a postcard. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Anita Lau. Okay, so the way this is going to work for this is that I'm going to put 4 minutes on, and then at the 2-minute mark, we stop and then we translate.
各位晚上好嚇，我係個名叫 Anita Lau， 我係民主黨嘅19區嘅大會嘅代表，我住喺一個高樓大廈係9層高嘅可負擔房屋裏邊嘅。我好高興咧喺呢個高樓大廈住，因為有啲人咧好怕啲高樓大廈咧就比較有啲恐懼。我和我啲居民啦，即係鄰居啦，分享一下嚇。對我以及住在我個公寓裏邊咧，所有嘅居民嚟講咧，喺呢一個生活環境係好好嘅。我哋個公寓嘅旁邊咧有教堂啦，有個波場啦，即係球場啦，同埋公園啦、餐館啦，同埋學校。 周圍嘅獨立嘅房屋咧，住宅嘅居民咧，同埋啲小商戶，從未對我哋有抱怨過，即係有起呢啲高樓大廈嘅。有時候咧，好多人猜測就係會有呢個起呢啲大廈咧，會有呢個恐慌啦嚇。但係事實上，我哋已經證明咗咧，呢個高樓大廈係沒有即係呢個擔心嘅問題。我喺香港長大嘅，係喺年輕嘅時候咧，香港個城市咧規劃嘅部門咧決定將呢個當地嘅發展成一座大都市嘅商業城市，大部分嘅舊嘅樓宇啦，5層高嗰啲咁啦嚇，比較歷史成100年嗰啲，都會轉為摩天大廈取代嘅，即係起高樓大廈咁啦。所有居民嘅家庭都對呢啲變化嘅感到係好滿意，家庭嘅收入咧大幅咁提升，學校咧都會變得更好。GDP 和呢個生活嘅水平比以前咧高出咗幾倍。以此為例啦，如果我哋接受家庭住宅即係起多啲高樓大廈嘅計劃咧，我會睇到呢個三藩市咧擁有更加光明繁榮嘅未來，就會好似香港咁一樣。因此，我會強烈支持呢個分區起高樓大廈嘅計劃，以便為城市嘅未來建設更多所需嘅住房。謝謝。
大家晚上好。
Oops, sorry. Wrong language.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anita Lau. I'm the elected Democratic Party's delegate to the 19th Assembly District. I live in a 9 stories affordable apartment building. And I'm thrilled to live in a high-rise. Some people are afraid of high-rise apartment buildings. I want to share with you that for me and everyone in my building, the living environment is excellent. We're right next to a church, a park, restaurants, and a school. Residents of surrounding single-family homes and small businesses have never complained. Sometimes, speculation can lead to panic. But in reality, we've proven that there's nothing to fear about high-rise buildings. I grew up in Hong Kong, and when I was young, the city planning department decided to develop the area into a metropolitan commercial city, replacing most of the older homes with skyscrapers. All the families in the area are delighted with the changes. Family incomes have increased significantly, schools have improved, and GDP and living standards are several times higher than before. Therefore, if we accept the family upzoning plan, I see a brighter and more prosperous future for San Francisco, just like Hong Kong. Therefore, we strongly support this family upzoning plan to build the housing needed for the city's future. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. And I clearly need to figure out a better system for this. Look, I'll figure it out one of these days. Up next, I have Larissa Thornton, followed by Susie Mueller, Athena Wortham, forgive me, reading these was a little hard, and then Divya Singh.
Good evening, committee. My name is Larissa Thornton, and I'm a client of Positive Directions Equals Change in the Women's Treatment and Recovery Prevention Program. I want to speak in favor of Cedric Akbar's proposition for our frontline workers to be paid a living and competitive wage that reflect the positive impact and services they provide to the community. The frontline workers advocate for the needs of those who are not capable of caring for themselves in public forums and affect policy changes that benefit the lives of those needing recovery. They act as mentors and social workers by helping find solutions to clients' personal problems and teaching them skills such as financial literacy, behavior modification, and self-sufficiency, while also facilitating vocational rehabilitation, personal development, as well as showing clients how to navigate resources on their own to enrich their lives.
Frontline workers act as therapists and case managers by helping clients navigate mental health challenges by teaching them coping skills to handle unstable emotions and triggers to use substances. They act as nurses by supervising clients taking medications and encourage them to stay compliant to their treatment plans, administering drug tests and accompanying clients to doctor's appointments to provide moral support. Frontline workers protect and serve the community in the same dangerous capacity as police officers, often enduring harassment, verbal abuse, and violence from program participants, as well as members of the community when enforcing the rules and maintaining a safe and clean environment inside and outside of the programs 24/7. On top of working long hours, they also sacrifice personal time to deal with client emergencies, attend events that reinforce sobriety with participants so clients can reintegrate back into society on nights and weekends so clients can have fun. They use their own resources to make sure we are comfortable and happy, like providing cakes for our birthdays, and those funds are not refunded to them. In conclusion, frontline workers give up their time, energy, and effort, and it's not reflected in their salaries. They often go beyond their job descriptions to provide for clients' needs and deserve to be paid living wages for their life-saving abilities. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Susie Mueller.
Hello, I am a current participant with Positive Directions, and I am currently looking into the field of working for nonprofit organizations and human services. But I have like a couple of like the rate pay, like how am I going to afford to live in San Francisco when I'm working, and then the trauma that comes along with being on the front line, helping homelessness and opening like doors to a shelter, and dealing with people that have trauma and are in heartbreaking situations. And then having like a second job. It's just a lot of stress goes into these decisions. And I feel that the work that frontline workers put into it, they do it quietly, and they don't look for fanfare. They go out every day, and they do the job that helps San Francisco's backbone and like the community that is involved in helping people in vulnerable states of being. I feel like equal work, equal pay is necessary for people that can be affected by all the trauma and all the vulnerable situations that people are in. So I am in honor for Cedric Adbar's policy.
Thank you for your comments. Up next, I have Athena Wortham, Divya Singh, Jane Natoli, and Erica Zweig.
Hi, my name is Athena Wortham, and I'm here for Akbar. So I just wanted to support him in the fair pay for human service workers. Okay, so human service workers deserve to be paid the city workers because we are just essential to the safety, health, and stability of our community. Every day we show up for people facing homelessness, mental health crisis, addiction, and mental health. We prevent emergencies, emergencies before they happen, often doing the same kind of crisis response work police, EMTs, and other city staff do, just from different angles. Our jobs carry enormous responsibility and emotional weight. We navigate complex systems, protect vulnerable families, and help individuals rebuild their lives. Yet, despite the professionalism and skill this work requires, our pay rarely matches the value and bring the cost of living in the cities we serve. Paying human service workers in city rates isn't just fair, it's smart. It helps us retain experienced, compassionate, and staff reduces burnout, and turnover, which directly improves the quality of care people receive. When workers are stable, the community becomes more stable. City department couldn't function effectively without the foundation of human service workers, building housing, stability, and food access, mental health support, and reentry service that strengthens our neighborhood. Thank you.
All right, up next, I have Divya Singh.
Hi, everybody. Good evening, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak here in front of you. My name is Divya Singh. I'm a volunteer lead at Grow the Richmond, part of SFUMB, and I'm here to speak in support of the Mayor's Family Zoning Plan, and I urge you to please approve item 10 and reject item 11. Like I said, I live in the Richmond. I've been there for the past 5 years or so. I live in a 3 or 4 story walk up with neighbors immediately above me and below me for whom mobility is not the easiest. And it does kind of pain me to see them have to take stairs at times, with the support of like crutches or what have you, just to exit the building, do their laundry, take out the trash, very like basic things. And I think the plan presents an opportunity to spur newer construction with more modern facilities, include things like an elevator that could be greatly beneficial to them. Also, energy efficient appliances and infrastructure that could be just beneficial to everybody in the building, and reduce strain on the city's electrical grid and other facilities. Yeah, in light of all that, I think the plan would be really great for San Francisco, and in light of the more recently emergent abundance movement, it gives us a great opportunity to prove that Democrats can build. All right, thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Jane Natoli.
Good evening. My name is Jane Natoli. I am the San Francisco Organizing Director for YIMBY Action. I'm here today to speak on behalf of our 1,372 members here in San Francisco in support of Member Chen and Chair Tung's resolution to support the family zoning plan. We know we need to build more housing. We've known it for a long time. Almost 50 years ago, we downzoned significant swaths of the city, and we made it next to impossible to build buildings like the one I currently live in the Richmond. It's a 19-unit apartment building. It's 3 stories. It's not destroying the world, but we can't do that again. That's not possible right now. Family zoning is about making those kinds of buildings possible again. It's about allowing for more homes throughout our city like we used to build. I moved here 12 years ago, like many other folks. I moved here for opportunity, whether it's your generation or the generation before you, or maybe even a few others, if you're lucky enough to have been here 3 or 4 generations. That's not really something that people can do these days. I hear stories over and over about people going elsewhere, going back to where they're from, moving to other cities that might be more affordable, Austin or Minneapolis or Seattle. These coincidentally are all places that have been building housing. We can do that too. We have the technology, we have the knowledge, we just need the willpower. And it would be a great statement if our local Democratic Party also said that we need to build housing. So I encourage you to do that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right, up next I have Erica Zweig, Jen Doherty follows, then Serena Kisara, and James Dilworth. Erica.
Hi, I'm Erica Zweig. I've been in the District 4 for 50 years in my exact same rent-controlled building for 45 of the 50 years. I owned the rent-controlled building and supported deeply rent-controlled rents for 30 years. And people aged out and even passed away. And that's what rent control is about. And I hope that the YIMBYs that are in the room and elsewhere I don't see why they can't support the family zoning plan and at the same time support the amendments that give protections for rent-controlled people in the city, our small businesses, 100% affordable for city public property. Very, very reasonable additions that we've been talking to the planning department for years about, and we're left out of this corporate plan. It's strictly a corporate plan without those amendments. So we're a member, we're also affiliated D-Forward with Race and Equity and All Planning. We thought we were a partner at the table, but if you accept or propose a resolution that accepts the family zoning as is, it's a corporate real estate developer plan. It doesn't put front and center affordable housing, which is what the people in our city need. And you represent the people in our city and the Democrats in our city, and you should be supporting the people and not the corporations. So we strongly support Gordon Marr's resolution. We applaud the supervisors that brought up the important amendments, and there's no reason why everybody in this room, it should be unanimous to support
Thank you for your comment.
the plan plus the amendments. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, I have Jen Doherty.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for listening. I'm here to support Gordon Marr's proposition to amend the plan because I'm speaking as a long-term D4 resident that's had family in the city since before the 06 quake and fire. I'm saddened to see that between Senator Wiener, our new mayor, and our recently recalled supervisor, that they want to erode our coastal zone jurisdiction and want to upzone everywhere. We have a coastal zone for a reason, to protect our environment, our coast, and land. There are already plans for an 8-story, 199-unit mixed unhoused seniors with convalescent seniors with an adult daycare center at Lower Great Highway in Lincoln on a tsunami evacuation route. Liquefaction doesn't make sense. There's a way to do affordable housing, right way and a wrong way, and they're a vulnerable population and you're gonna put them in danger. There's gonna be a whole block of concrete wall on our coast. We don't have the adequate infrastructure now, water, safety, traffic. Why do they want SF to change so much? There are so many vacancies now and units ready to go, ready to be built. So why? Besides money and greed, city as I've known is gone and it's heartbreaking. Please listen to us, the people, the residents, the taxpayers, the one who elect people like you to represent us. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Serena Casara, and then James Dilworth, and then Renee Lazier. Wonderful. Serena.
Hi, thanks for letting me speak. I'm Serena Kisara. I'm a medical doctor, OB-GYN, and I work in Medicaid clinics and the county hospital. I'm here to support the family zoning plan because I see in my clinics every day how low housing supply affects health tremendously. People who are affected by the dearth of housing aren't just the people who are living on the streets. They're people who are going from couch to couch, maybe in a motel one day, maybe in someone's house that's letting them stay there for a week. And it's extremely stressful. You cannot get your medications, you miss tons of appointments, and people get sick, and I see it. You know, I can do a lot in clinic and the social workers can too, but I can't create housing. You have to have policy create housing. You have to build. And a population health level, it's extreme. Lack of housing is highly correlated with poorer outcomes and higher cost of health. So I think that, you know, to create affordable housing, the best time to build was 20 years ago. Otherwise, now, and we need to support this family's zoning plan to do that. I actually think the health of our city depends on it. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have James Dilworth. James Dilworth. Last call. Okay. Up next, I have Renee Lazar. Lazier, sorry. My apologies. I won't say that on the mic.
Yes, I whispered it to you. Hi, I'm Renee Lazier. I'm co-founder of SunSF, Save Our Neighborhood San Francisco. I'm a long-time, multi-generational San Francisco and D4. My family's in the house since 1938. I'm a fifth-generation Californian. I would like you to support Gordon Marr's resolution to amend the mayor's upzoning plan and reject the passing of this plan in its current state. I would also like you to consider how this upzoning plan will negatively impact small businesses, seniors, renters, and all neighborhoods. This plan is not affordable in its current state either. I would ask that you support more reasonable, small-scale building, not oversized high-rises and/or density decontrol, and to consider converting existing vacant buildings as to avoid excess building that will create more empty projects and become derelict. I would also like it to say it is not enough for the mayor to say that it won't happen, and we also have a population that's waning, or going down in population. We should consider now, not 50 years from now. But it's not enough for the mayor to say that it won't happen and to list reasons why high rises won't be built. We need it in writing. We need to be reasonable. We in the neighborhoods are vulnerable and unprotected. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good evening.
Thank you for your comment, Renee. The next couple of commenters I have are Gary Lamb, followed by Ken Lowe, Angelique Mahan, and then Patrick Wolf. I'm gonna try it different this time. I'm gonna do a 2-2 split. All right, go ahead.
民主黨委員會大家好，我叫 Gary Lam， 我住喺日落區，係日落區市中環文化區嘅成員。我哋喺6月底用中文進行了住房需求嘅深入討論會，因為這座城市住房短缺，目前大家訴房屋和公寓都係很多全建造嘅，有些甚至只有100多年嘅歷史。過去家庭主婦需要一個大嘅廚房，需要一個大嘅後院嚟種花。多生兒育女大家庭需要好多嘅卧室，但呢啲居住空間已經過時，不符合現在家庭嘅需求。現在雙新夫婦不再需要大廚房和大嘅餐桌，退休老人身體虛弱，無力進行藝員嘅工作，而普通家庭擔養嘅細路亦有好多，無設多個卧室。現在我哋需要重新評估揾力建造小型單位嘅必要性，因此我哋支持家庭分區計劃。至於我哋嘅當中一些擁有大家庭嘅居民，我哋覺得支持興建一部分多嘅卧室單位嘅同時，更需要考慮老人飲食同埋嬰兒飲食有唔同嘅需要，因此我哋鼓勵分區興建計劃當中要包括提供老人餐嘅社區中心，同埋包括兒童營養餐嘅托兒中心，為我哋同年齡居民提供嘅服務。3萬次多年。
Thank you. Merci.
Hello, Democratic Committee. My name is Gary Lamb. I live in the Sunset District and am a member of the Sunset Chinese Cultural District. At the end of June, we held an in-depth discussion in Chinese about our housing needs. This is because the city is facing a housing shortage. Currently, most houses and apartments are built many years ago, some even over a century old. In the past, homemakers needed a large kitchen and a spacious backyard for gardening, and large families with many children needed multiple bedrooms. However, these living space designs are outdated and no longer meet the needs of modern families. Dual-income couples no longer need large kitchens and dining tables. Retirees are frail and unable to do gardening, and families with fewer children don't need multiple bedrooms. We need to reevaluate the need to allow for smaller units. And therefore we support the family zoning plan. For those of us with large families, while we support a percentage of some multi-bedroom units, we also need to consider the different dietary needs of the elderly and infants. Therefore, we encourage zoning plans to include community centers with meals for the elderly and childcare centers with nutritious meals for children. For years, San Francisco hasn't built enough new housing for future generations. Our children and grandchildren, who receive a good education, work hard, and can afford market-rate housing, want to live in San Francisco, close to their grandparents. We don't want them to move to the East Bay, the South Bay, or even further out of state. Therefore, while having a certain percentage of below market-rate housing is important, we also want to accelerate the construction of housing for residents of all income levels, serving families of different generations at different income levels. Please support the family zoning plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Gary. Up next, Ken Lowe. Do we have a Ken? Ken L, sorry. I thought there was another letter after that. I thought the period was an O. Ken L.
Hi, folks. Can you hear me? All right, great. Hi, my name is Ken Lustenberger. I'm a District 3 resident. I'm also an apartment tenant. I'm also a multi-generational San Franciscan. And I come as a friend of labor. I am a union member of SEIU Local 1000. I'm not here to speak on behalf of my union, though, but I have done so on occasion, and I have gone to bat for state employees who we represent. I will say I'm here to back Gordon Marr's resolution. I do denounce the mayor's plan. The fact that he calls it family housing, that is just a misnomer. We all know here that it is corporate housing. I have worked in the arenas of law and real estate. I know that San Francisco is highly desirable. It is a place where people come from all over the globe. If you're going to expand units and availability for certain classes globally, you're going to be opening up basically a Pandora's box for a lot of international folks to come here. And that has already been seen. But I do think we're in a reverse trend. Right now, office space is highly vacant. We have about, if you go on SF.gov's website right now, there's about 30% of vacancy of office space. And we're not talking about converting already existing spaces in this city. So this plan, why do we need to develop more? Why do we need to build more? That's always been Madison Avenue's program, is to come in, build shiny and new, and kick out everybody who's existed before. And it causes displacement. This is historic. Do I need examples for all of you? Do we need to talk about the New Jersey projects? Do we need to talk about Detroit? That is coming here to San Francisco with this plan. So if you stand by, and on top of that, I want to put this out there before I finish, that we also have a supervisor who isn't sitting right now representing District 4. So we're going forward, we're running this down the throats of San Franciscans without proper representation.
Thank you for your comment. Next, I have Angelique Mahan, followed by Patrick Wolf, Sarah Bars, Sophia Catherine Rothschild, and then Griffin Lee.
Am I gonna have to be like,
There you go. You want to
yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I don't want to be like I'm on a comedy show or something. Okay, so let's see. So much to talk about, so much to talk about. Good evening. Oh, are we starting? Bet. Okay, so my name's Angelique Mahan. I know everybody gives some sort of primer of who they are and what they are. You guys, I've introduced myself to you before, so I don't feel like I need to introduce myself. My name's Angelique Mahan. I am a District 11 resident. Shout out to John Oblos. So let's be quick about this. Shockingly, I support something that Gordon Marr has done. I believe in the, I'm all for the family housing plan, even though it doesn't seem like it's very family housing. We need those safeguards in. Let's see, because I do have something I want to talk about. I want to make sure I support Akbar's wage gap thing. I forgot what it's called. I was listening to it. I agree with that. They do the hard work. They're on the ground. And I absolutely believe that they should be paid and compensated according to what's happening with the city workers. It would be nice if this body would actually put some of their efforts, not all of it, because I don't want to be critical, but some of their efforts towards actually looking at some of the policies that make it unaffordable to live here, rather than always just raising the wage. Because when you raise the wage, that means you can tax more, that means you're taking more out of people's pockets, as opposed to actually doing something about the actual policy that make it unaffordable here. So that'd be really cool if you could do that. Let's see, I totally and 100% agree with my sister from the Coalition of San Francisco Neighborhoods. I was vice president of a great organization, and thank you for being here with that. Also want to deal with the coastal, I'm against coastal upzoning. We need to do better by that. We need to be more intentional about that. Having said that, I have 25 seconds and I want to say this. As a native San Franciscan, it is frustrating to me. I was gay, I was Black, I was female when it was unattractive, uncool, and unresponsive. It's very exciting that at least one member of this body is able to be out, gay, proud, Black, and female. And it'd be nice if other people in this city got an opportunity that are gay, Black, female, and actually live in San Francisco, that got to be able to be heard, seen, and represented. So I'm not trying to throw any shade. I respect that you're here, but it would be nice if we all got opportunities to get that same opportunity as well. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Patrick Wolf, Sarah Bars, and then Sophia Catherine Rothschild.
Hi, good evening. Thank you. Patrick Wolf, and I'm speaking as a board member and representative of the West Side Family Democratic Club. Our club represents hundreds of families who live in San Francisco's western neighborhoods. We know that zoning obviously can be contentious, but the truth is the state has required us to make changes to zoning. And with that in mind, we find this plan thoughtful and well done. It focuses development along transit and commercial corridors. It allows small businesses to thrive, to build walkable communities, and it does try to build housing closer to transit so people can use it. And we do know that failure to act risks the loss of critical state funding and would lose local control. I really do want to emphasize that permitting is simply allowing. There is a lot more work to be done after permitting to reduce building costs and ensure that new construction meets the needs of both the local community and the local neighborhood, and the broader community. But a healthy community grows and evolves, and this plan permits that growth and evolution. And putting in place too restrictive constraints, while well-intentioned, can often have the effect of actually choking off that growth and evolution. In the last 30 seconds that I have, I'd like to speak personally about a different issue. I really want to celebrate and thank the people for the work being done with those who have addiction issues. Without going into detail, because I want to protect privacy, I'm going to be going to a funeral soon of a young adult who both directly and indirectly through their family was affected through addiction issues. The harm that drug addiction, including alcohol, which is obviously also a drug, the harm that drug addiction does is terrible. And the people who help those with the drug addiction, you are truly doing God's work, and thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Sarah Bars. And I think you told me Sarah left, so unless Sarah's hiding somewhere, I'm moving on. Sophia Catherine Rothschild.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's nice, beautiful scenery. Just love it. Good evening, everyone. It's a nice, beautiful scenery here. Just loving it. The fact that the decision is being made without a supervisor for District 4 present is a total disrespect to the community. And as recent recall shown, we're not going anywhere. And I have no problem building more housing, but when it's basically just about appeasing speculators who really don't give a shit, and please support Gordon Moore's amendments. I think it's a step in the right direction. And as I would just want to close by saying, playtime is over. Quit fucking around.
Thank you for your comments. Move on to Griffin Lee, followed by Josephine Zhao, and then Harlow Pippinger.
Good evening, DCCC. I'm here actually on behalf of Sunset United Neighbors. Very quick message. On behalf of Sunset United Neighbors, they still feel like they don't have a voice in the plan, specifically the upzoning plan, both before and after the recall. The city should listen to Sunset United Neighbors in their feedback, and no plan for them without us. Thanks so much.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Josephine Zhao.
Good evening. My name is Josephine Zhao. I took 2 buses to came from the northeast side of town, hour and a half to get here. No dinner yet. And this is why it's so important to have, for us, multi-generational family on this side of town, to have access to equitable transportation. That's why we still rely on cars and multi-generational family homes. In school that I work in, we said, leave no child behind. But in our city, we're leaving the sunset behind right now. When we don't have a supervisor, we don't have representation, we don't have an organized, systematic approach to run an inclusive input process to understand where people are at. We don't have a chance for amendment. Not like other districts that have a ton of time to do so. In fact, our former supervisor has spent 3 years hiding 4 major land use decisions behind our backs and expect that we will just take it as is. CADC supports housing at every price point, support infill and reasonable, responsible growth, support preserving multi-generational family. But we don't know where Sunset stands. We heard people support and some people said no. So if we are going to do this again and just do a top-down decision making and put it on Sunset, this is no different from what happened since 18 months ago, where prop case started and then the recall happened. If we want enduring peace, if we want healing for the Sunset, time to give us time.
Thank you for your comment. Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Harlow Pippinger, followed by Artis Crenshaw, Pat L, and then Otto P.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Harlow Pippinger. I'm a District 2 resident, renter. I'm urging you to oppose the mayor's zoning plan as it currently stands. And I think that we have seen that this sort of market-driven planning will not really address the affordability that we need. It's going to do a lot to displace rent-controlled tenants. It will uproot immigrant communities, and it's not going to create family housing like it promises. It's not going to really create affordable housing at all. And, you know, I think also moving forward with this plan at a time when, as others have mentioned, there's not a District 4 representative is not democratic. It's not taking those residents' concerns into account. And, you know, I think the city needs to take the time to actually craft a plan that will work to achieve the goals that, you know, I think we all value, which would include protecting all rent-controlled tenants, making sure that there's high affordability levels, that there are those 2 and 3 bedroom units that we need. And yeah, I think that we should support Gordon Marr's amendment and actually create a plan that lives up to San Francisco values, that, you know, creates a better future for San Francisco families here. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Artis Crenshaw. And a quick PSA, if you arrived here and you would like to give public comment, you need to fill out a comment card behind me or come to my friend Chase, who's holding the mic right now, or Courtney over there, one of them, and they can give you a card. Thank you.
My name is Artis Crenshaw. I am an employee of Positive Directions. I work hand in hand with Cedric Akbar. I am one of the ones who is on the front line when I'm at work. I am one of the ones who sees what's going on. I'm one of the ones who is a helping hand to the community. But at the same time, I'm one of the ones that wants to save the people. Every day, I walk through people, hunched over, slumped, making sure they're not dead. Excuse my language if I'm sounding inappropriate. But yeah, it's not good. Kids waiting at the bus stop. You got to tell them to move along. These kids come in, and I just think about what the kids see, what they remember, and what they would take with them in their memory as they get older. So yes, more funding, more pay, it helps, but we need help saving people. It's getting out of hand. Like the stuff I see when I'm standing outside the building is not good. And we just need to save the city. I'm gonna keep it period, point blank. We need to do something about this, like ASAP. It is getting bad. Thank you, Cedric.
Thank you for your comment. It only said Pat L. So if you are Pat L, there you go.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for letting me here talk. I urge you to vote no on zoning without amendments. The upzoning, the way it's proposed, is going to be incredibly damaging to our communities here. It's damaging to the current renters that are living in their units. Many of them live in these rent control units, and they will be kicked out. And it's damaging to fixed income homeowners, especially seniors. And it affects also immigrants as well. If a lot of these actually units that will be built will be at market rate, and a percentage will be affordable. Define affordable. If you look at the teacher housing educator at Shirley Chisholm, I spoke with some teachers and they said that they cannot afford their affordable units. Again, these are market rate housing that will be built and only a few affordable. That is not correct. You need to go back and look at this proposed housing and do it right and do it with amendments. And not only that, as a resident of District 4, this is major decision without a supervisor on the Board of Supervisors. We don't have a supervisor now, and we need representation. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Up next, I have Otto P, followed by Shirley Wong, and then Vera Gidkin-Tuttle. My apologies in advance.
Hi there, folks. My name is Otto J. Pippinger, he, him, his. Didn't mean to be mysterious with Otto J. I live right here in D4 at 27th and Terraville, and I am here to speak not on behalf of 1,300 odd YIMBYs citywide, but on behalf of the 30,000 people right here in District 4 who just organized themselves against a supervisor who worked for 6 billionaires and not the 50,000 people in his electorate, who believed that the deliberate displacement of the most vulnerable people in his district was an acceptable political cause. Now, we've had some bright young faces tell you that the future of the Democratic Party is to be more like Reagan, is to deregulate, is to pursue what caused destruction of Chicago, of Manhattan, what has been tried many times without any success. I'm here to tell you on behalf of these folks that the role of government is not to pursue the convenience of the most economically privileged in the entire nation, is to protect those who rely upon them most acutely. Renters, fixed immigrant incomes. There are people who would never tell you that all lives matter, who are here telling you with a straight face that all housing matters. This is offensive, this is unacceptable. What we have going on right here in District 4 is construction that is going to release chemicals that cause Alzheimer's. And their proposal is to put a tarp down rather than to vacuum it out. Why? Because there's not enough political support from the real working people who will be affected. We do not have a supervisor. The people of District 4, indeed the working people of this city, immigrant communities need your protection during this administration. They do not need to be dispossessed. It is outrageous that after an inordinate amount of these people have made a historical movement to make themselves heard, that this decision, which is irrevocable, which is permanent, which is unchangeable, is being made without us having a supervisor who represents this district. I urge you to consider that and take action accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Shirley Wong. I'll repeat that, Shirley Wong.
依家啲屋好貴。啲屋貴，咁啊好多人住埋一間屋，咁啊好多架車，你哋即係起屋一定要有好多停車位，好似歐榮街咁，100個單位先得7個停車位，又俾翻嗰啲社工嗰啲人嚟拍，哇！咁我以前住過downtown嗰頭，入咗街市啊，揾咗成個鐘都揾唔到位。即係入嗰啲街市差唔多又用翻晒，先後尾好辛苦啊，夾埋先買翻新 set， 以為即係易啲泊車，點知你哋又咁搞法啊？所以即係你哋啲人要即係理下個社會。我個朋友啱啱去咗 Arkansas， 佢話嗰頭嗰啲街市2個幾銀錢一街輪，點解你呢度搞到成5蚊一街輪，你哋都冇人理我哋啲人，淨係一味係。即係睇點加稅，即係所以啊，你個民主黨一定要整好嚟啊！即係顧下啲人民啊，好似我哋咁辛苦嚟公屋，你又喺我地稅度攞錢嚟起負擔房屋，嗰啲人啊攞咗負擔房屋又唔去做工，嗰啲 food stamp 白卡乜嘢都攞齊，又去做出現錢嘅，所以你哋一定要整好嘅。即係個社會先得公平啊！
The housing is so expensive right now that a lot of multi people is living in the same house, and it's like it's very hard to park. Then there's very little parking space. For example, like the housing new housing in urban streets. There's so many multi-units, but it's only over 100 units. There's only 7 parking spaces, and it's also reserved to staff. So everybody always have the hard time parking. I moved from downtown to here, hopefully try to find better parking, but it's looks like the plan is never really considered about how hard it is. And I have relatives and friends who live in Arkansas. It's only need like $2 per gallon on gas. Right now in San Francisco, it's over $5. And if I have to spend all the time, people have to spend all the time driving around, and it's going to be even more expensive. We want to make sure that our property tax that pay is not using to, or our property tax dollar is not used to build all those multiple building without thinking about how hard it is for homeowners. And particular for subsidizing like food stamp and others, I think the Democratic Party have to actually pay more attention to homeowners. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Up next, I have Vera Genkin Tuttle. I think. There you go.
Hello, good evening, San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. Oh, hold on a second. My name is Vera Genkin Tuttle. I am a resident of District 4 since 1974. I'm a graduate of Lowell High School. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of my district, because we don't have anybody speaking for us right now. As you all know, District 4 is currently without any city supervisorial representation. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time with my notes. As we are waiting for a new supervisor appointment after successfully recalling our last supervisor as a result of voter disenfranchisement. Sadly, this fact is also well known to the whole governing body of our city of San Francisco. Yet the supervisor board is discussing, amending, and voting on an upzoning plan that is specifically targeted mostly for our district, District 4. And yet we have no representative at the table forwarding and representing our needs and our voices. This is outrageous. To make such an irreversible major decision without District 4 having a supervisor to represent us, it is undemocratic. It is further disenfranchisement. It almost amounts to muzzling and silencing the people of District 4 in an underhanded and conniving way. And this is not what democracy looks like. We ask that the Democratic Convention support our right to be represented in these discussions and this zoning plan. Please postpone any decisions until we have representation at the table. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Oh, good timing. Madam Chair, that is the end of the queue. One last PSA. Is there anyone else? All right. I'll give your mic back to you.
Thank you, Executive Director Esfandiari. Moving on to item number 6, which are reports. If there are any executive board members or committee chairs that would like to give reports, I will just be brief in saying that our annual gala is tomorrow night. we are actually sold out for the event. So thank you to our co-chairs, Joe San Girardi and Associate Member Carrie Barnes, and the members of the Planning Committee for putting together, hopefully, which will be a very successful event tomorrow night. This is also our last regular meeting of the year. Did that draw some applause? I don't know. So if there are, do you have some further updates, Member San Girardi? No? Okay. Vice Chair Hare has updates for clubs and chartering.
Good evening, colleagues. My name is Vice Chair Hare. I am the chair of the Clubs and Chartering Committee. I have two quick updates that I want to make sure my colleagues are aware of. One is that we recently went through the pre-endorsement conference's delegate process with the clubs, and 12 clubs have representation with delegates at the pre-endorsement conferences, which are coming up in San Francisco. They will be here in February next year, so make sure. I'm sorry, not the pre-endorsement conferences. January next year. And so that is great that so many of our clubs will have delegates. And for those who don't know, that means that these clubs will have a say in endorsements for various races higher on the ballot, including for governor, for assembly, for Senate, and even for Congress. So that is a great way for our clubs to have a say in who gets elected and who gets endorsed by the Democratic Party on a state level, on a federal level. I also want to update that my colleagues on the Clubs and Chartering Committee, members Michael Wen and member Eric Kingsbury, have been working on a Democratic Club benefits package, which is something that we heard when we were first inaugurated, that the clubs want more support to bolster their grassroots abilities. So I have been meeting with many clubs. Member Wen has been meeting with many clubs, and we heard a lot about what they could use for support. So we are developing a benefits package proposal that includes seed funding and leadership training and compliance support and all kinds of things that will give our clubs more ability to register voters and get members in their clubs and whatnot. So I will have more updates about that in the new year when we reconvene, but I wanted to make sure everyone is aware in the meantime.
Thank you for that report, Vice Chair Hare. Let me see. Are we going to wait for the bylaw stuff when we take up the items? Yes, okay. Anybody else want, considering the lateness of the hours, oh, yes, Director Coles.
Yeah, hi, thank you. We already heard a little bit about Prop 50, but I wanted to spend another minute talking about Prop 50. We have been very fortunate to receive over 500 of these window signs. They're in that box over there. I would like to encourage everyone to take a few home with them tonight, give them to your neighbors. Right now, San Francisco, if you drive around the city, you see very little signage. We need to up the ante. We need to increase the enthusiasm to ensure that we have turnout for Prop 50. This is not a slam dunk. As Susan mentioned, we are co-hosting, co-sponsoring phone banks and door knocking. You can phone bank 6 days a week from the comfort of your home. And we have also partnered to do door knocking every weekend until Election Day. Who can tell me how many days till Election Day? 13. Who can tell me how many hours until Election Day? 312. 312 hours. I'm asking you to carve out 2 hours in the next 312 hours to phone bank or to door knock. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Coles. And so I want to say that the party has been very much doing our part to support Prop 50. We purchased, I want to say we purchased 10,000 pieces of literature that we distributed at a mega mobilization that we did with LIUNA and the laborers a few weeks ago. And then we ordered another 15,000 from the state party and have distributed all but 2,000 of those pieces of literature. So, San Francisco is doing its part. We want to have great turnout all the way around because every vote in San Francisco counts as equally as any other vote somewhere else in the city. So better turnout for us is better for Prop 50. All right, any other updates? Regional Director Henning Kelly.
Well, something's coming up this next weekend. It is going to be an executive board meeting. And those of you who are on the executive board here, I hope to see you in Monterey. It's a beautiful place. It's going to be really nice. The one thing that I want to say is that almost all, I think even all of the caucus meetings are going to be on, what is it called? Zoom. Yeah, because I don't do Zoom a lot and I don't even think about it. And so we're going to be on Zoom. So you can stay home if you're not, going there, but you can still be part of it and listen to what the caucuses want you to do. The most important thing, though, is to be there all of Saturday and all of Sunday. Nobody who is a delegate, an executive board delegate, can leave on Sunday until it's over, because that's when the voting comes. And I want to tell you something, that my region, Region 7, usually has the most people staying there, because I take names. And I want you to do that and stay until the very end. Now, I want to take a little time to talk about what's going on in San Francisco. And for me, it is really important. I basically think we do need to build housing. I basically think that the mayor has gotten a plan that is workable. But I also think that it needs to be looked at, and you need to look at things that our people in our community have asked for. And that is why I want to say thank you to Mr. Marr. We're not saying that the mayor has done anything wrong. We're not saying that we like what.
Regional Director Henning Kelly, I address you with your first name and last name out of respect. If this is veering into public comment and outside of your...
I did not want to take the time out of that because I would have had 4 minutes and I didn't want to do it. I'm going to do it now. I'm sorry. If you don't like it, turn off the microphone. You'll still hear me.
Okay, I appreciate your comments and we hear you.
I wanted
and understand what your position is. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I will say, with respect to your other comments about the convention this weekend for e-board, that in light of reports that the National Guard is being deployed to San Francisco, I did ask all 4 of our delegates to the executive board to remain in San Francisco in case there are mobilizations or other efforts that we need to do as a party to protect our city. I did have a conversation with Chair Rusty Hicks this afternoon regarding my decision to pull back our e-board members. He said he understood. I also told him that I would keep him abreast of any opportunities or mobilizations that might occur in San Francisco for which we may call on the state party to support us. And so we will not be attending or be represented at the state party e-board this weekend in Monterey. But
Are you
we will.
sending proxies?
It's too late to send proxies. We were all going to attend in person ourselves.
Thank you.
But I do appreciate the information that it is available to us to attend the caucuses by Zoom, and I will share that information with the 4 e-board members. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7, 7 and 8, Director Chen. It's the amendment to the bylaws and policies and procedures.
Yes, hopefully this is a very boring part of the meeting, a non-controversial part of the meeting before we go to items 10 and 11. Colleagues, I have a set of bylaws and policies and procedures amendments that that have come about, I think, in the past as a result of the past year and a half of being the internal operations director and and as part of that, I work with Executive Director Esfandiari to make sure that we have our absences and proxies well tabulated. I also work with Chair Tung. And so when you have notified the party or Chair Tung of an absence, that goes through me, or for a proxy, that also goes through me. And so there are probably three parts of this bylaws amendment that I'd like to go through. The first one concerns public comment. Right now, we have a hard requirement about when public comment needs to be disseminated. That public comment that comes to the party needs to be disseminated to the members. It is currently a bit operationally difficult because when we're creating the meetings, it's sort of a hard limit that does not seem to be something that we want to put in the bylaws. And so, what the change here is to remove sort of these hard deadlines and instead make sure that public comment comes to members quickly. We are also going to be working on a technological change so that members will be able to access public comment. Probably they can pull public comment instead of the executive director having to push that public comment and batch that to the members. The second change concerns absences. As you may know, as most of you know, the policy currently is that you cannot have more than 3 unexcused absences, and you can have at most 2 proxies, and you can have additional at most 2 proxies subject to the discretion of the chair. That this bylaw, this rewrite does not change those limits. It does clarify some things that we have done in practice. One example being that, for example, when someone has to leave the meeting early because they have to catch a flight or they need to work on childcare, we have had a practice where members can assign a proxy to another member, and that will not count as an absence. And so that is now codified in the bylaws. Let's see. The third one is a little bit more complicated, and it's about how the DCCC votes in multiple seat elections, such as school board and city college board. If you recall last year, how we voted for these races was that each member would go around and name as many names as there were seats. In studying the voting procedure, we found an edge case in which it's possible for the party to endorse more people than there are seats. And that is, which would be obviously bad for the party to endorse 5 people for 4 names. And so this changes the policy. It also creates a clarification method in case there are ties in how we do ranked choice elimination voting. So that's a quick summary of the amendments before you.
Thank you very much. Is there any discussion regarding these amendments? The members. Yes, Member Avalos.
First of all, I just really do appreciate opening up this document and finding red line here, because that wasn't done for the original bylaws that have been submitted before. And I think it's really important that we know what we're getting. I also, but I have no idea. I would like to know more about what the process was for getting input and how these specific measures were adopted. That was, for what I could tell, it was a conversation and work that was done ongoing between Member Chen and our executive director. And I think we need more of a process or a better explanation about what these bylaws are, especially the vote. I don't recall there being more candidates endorsed than seats that were available in the past. I know that's been confusing at times when we did get the school board races, but I don't recall that happening. So I don't know, I'm not clear why we needed to change this. I don't necessarily disagree with changing them if I understand what it is I'm voting for. So that's on this. I probably have questions on the next measure, next ballot, next agenda item as well.
It might be maybe it's the other mic. Oh. All right. Thank you, Member Avalos. So quickly, this is something that it's because I'm in charge of absences and proxies. It's something that I've noticed. I talked to Chair Tong about it. It has been duly noticed in the 10-day and the 72-hour agenda. With regards to the multiple seat election, the school board races, for example, it is true that this has never happened. However, last year there was a possibility that I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the DCCC endorsed Luis Zamora, Ruth Ferguson, Heather McCarty, Aaliyah Chisti, and then there was a chance that if the votes had gotten a different way, then Ben Kaplan would have also gotten endorsed. So it was a distinct possibility that if 3 members had changed their votes, then this would have happened. And of course, you are correct that this has not happened before, but there was a possibility that this could happen in the future, and then the party would be in a tough spot because we wouldn't be able to change our bylaws. So that's the why. And then I believe that in most of our other races we do endorsements seat by seat, and I think that is a better way of going through some of these endorsements, so that we can have a better way of understanding, like of filling the things, and not necessarily kind of I think it is more confusing I think to throw out a bunch of names and then have folks sort of do the telling than to address things one at a time.
Is there any other discussion, members? All right. Member Gupta.
Just a question. So first of all, thank you for taking this on, Member Chen, or whatever your title is. But one question, in section 6A2, is there a reason we have 2 proxies, though they're up to 3 excused absences?
See, so this was from the original adoption of the bylaws in April. Was it April?
Yeah.
April of 24. And if I don't want to speak necessarily for Chair Tong, but one thing I think that was some level of the limits. We want to make sure that there are opportunities for people to vote if they are absent, and we also want to make sure that people do show up to the meeting, and there is value in having members speak to each other and be present.
Any other discussion, members? Okay. Member Avalos.
So thank you for your explanation. I think it would be good to know what it is, how we can track our own attendance. And also, I think it might be important to be transparent about everyone's attendance in case we have questions about that. I just don't. I see a lot of people who are not here. I've been here probably most every meeting, but I see a lot of people who aren't here, and I also don't understand if they have the same consequences that I have. I also see that the way that we practice our bylaws, they're practiced in a very arbitrary way. I recall last year when there was public comment, how a candidate who actually won for the school board was denied the opportunity to speak. And I believe he was already a candidate. He was already a school board member. So these are like very, if we're going to have bylaws, we want to update our bylaws. I think we want to make sure that we're doing them in a transparent way. And I think we also need to make sure that we're actually following what we vote on in a way that's fair for the public and for our colleagues who hold elective office.
Thank you for your comments, Member Avalos.
If I do the chair.
Yes.
So some clarifying information. I'm not, maybe not everyone knows, and so I will repeat that. Our attendance records are public records, so anybody can request from Executive Director Esfandiari or from me the full attendance records of this body, including we will also including absences and proxies. Anyone may request a copy. This includes the public, and I do not wish to speak for the chair, but if you believe that there are violations or of the DCCC's bylaws, then the proper time to bring that up would be a point of procedure.
Point of order.
Point of order through the parliamentary process at that time. I am not perfect, and so if, for example, I am doing something out of order, I invite you to please tell me.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I've also had opportunities to talk about a point of order, offer one, and I've actually decided that it's not worth my time. But I really appreciate the runaround I'm getting.
Thank you very much, Member Avalos. Is there any further discussion about item number 7, the amendment of the bylaws? Article 2, Section 1, 3, and Article 4, Section 4 and 6, Article 6, Section 2. Seeing none, is there a motion to approve these amendments? Moved by Member Chandler, second by Vice Chair Hare. All right, let's have a vote. Director Chen?
Sorry, one moment. Moved by Chandler, seconded by Hare. Okay, calling the roll. The roll for this vote will today start with Arce. Arce, aye. Avalos.
Abstain.
Avalos, abstain. Kalamuchi. Aye. Kalamuchi, aye. Chan.
Abstain.
Chan, abstain. Chandler.
Aye.
Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Coles. Coles, aye. Dorsey.
Aye.
Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata, abstain. Gupta.
Aye.
Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho. Ho, proxy. Coles. Aye. Kim. Remember Kim arrived? Absent. Kingsbury.
Aye.
Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar. Mar, abstain. Win is absent. Philhauer.
Aye.
Philhauer, aye. Sanjirardi.
Aye.
Sanjirardi, aye. 2. 2, aye. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Elliott appears absent. Ex officios, Pelosi. Pelosi, abstain. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kounalakis. Abstain. Ma.
Yes.
Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Chair Tong.
Aye.
Tong, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? There are Out of 32 total members, there are 3 absent and 6 abstaining. For the remainder of the, out of 23, there are 23 aye. The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to vote for item number 8. May I have a motion to approve the amendments to the Policies and Procedures Manual, Section 7, Article 7?
So moved.
Moved by Member Chandler, second? Second by Director Lai. Director Chen, can you call roll call vote?
One moment, please. This is item 8, Amendment of Policies and Procedures Manual, Article 7, proposed by Chen. This is a motion to approve, moved by Chandler. Calling the roll, starting with Avalos.
Abstain.
Avalos abstain. Kalamucci.
Aye.
Kalamucci, aye. Chan.
Abstain.
Chan abstain. Chandler.
Aye.
Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Coles. Coles, aye. Dorsey.
Aye.
Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata abstain. Gupta.
Yes.
Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho. Coles. Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar. Mar abstain. Win is absent. Philhauer. Philhauer, aye. Senjurardi. Senjurardi, aye. Two, aye. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Elliott appears absent. Arce. Arce, aye. Ex officios, Pelosi. Pelosi abstain. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kounalakis. Kounalakis abstain. Ma. Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Chertong.
Aye.
Aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Of 32 total members, there are 6 abstaining and 3 absent, leaving 23 casting. Out of 23, there are 23 ayes. The motion passes.
Thank you very much, Director Chen, for the work that you've done in making our bylaws and our policies and procedures more comprehensive and understandable. Moving on to agenda item number 9, resolution on the murder of an Urban Alchemy employee and the need for enhanced support, safety, and pay equity for frontline workers in San Francisco. I recognize Vice Chair Akbar for this.
Thank you. So today I would like to present a resolution that was born out of both tragedy and also of urgency. And this resolution on the murder of an Urban Alchemy employee and the need for enhanced support, safety, and pay equity for frontline workers in San Francisco. On September 26, 2025, Joey Alexander, an Urban Alchemy employee, was shot and killed in front of the San Francisco Main Library while serving our community. His death was not only a profound loss, but it was also a wake-up call. A wake-up call for Joey was doing the work of many of us that are asked to be done. And that is engaging with vulnerable people on our streets with compassion, courage, and dignity. And when I first heard the news about Brother Joey Alexander, that he had passed away, our first was numb. And at the same time, deeply upset, and upset because as a city, we have allowed open air drug use, drug sales, and have allowed that to become normalized. And that lawlessness has become a way of life in this city. But Joey's death didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened in a climate we've tolerated far too long. A climate where frontline workers are asked to bring peace and healing to chaos without the protection and the support or the respect that they deserve. Our city depends on nonprofits and contract workers, people on the front lines, homelessness outreach, mental health care, and public safety. But these workers are often from the communities that they serve. Some have been trained in trauma-informed care, but not in law enforcement. But yet they face the violence, the burnout, and the systematic inequities every single day. In this city of San Francisco, and I've heard it here tonight, saying that this is a sanctuary city that protects immigrants and stands for compassion and inclusion. But we have to ask ourselves tonight, what does sanctuary really mean? Because if the people who already live and work here, the very people serving our streets, can't afford housing, can't put food on the table, and can't survive on what they make, what are we talking about in sanctuary? Sanctuary can't just be a slogan. It has to be a promise kept through our actions, through fair wages, safe working conditions, real investment in the people who hold this city together. Nonprofit workers are paid on an average of 45% less than city employees doing comparable work. And that's not just unfair, but it's also unsustainable. We must also recognize the need for bilingual differential pay, especially for our Spanish-speaking employees who serve as vital bridges between communities and services. This resolution calls for justice, not just for Joey, but for every frontline worker who serves this city with a heart of courage. So on this day, I'm asking for safety protections and mental health support for all frontline workers, pay equity between nonprofit and city employees, and long-term investments to address the root causes of the violence on our streets. For us as Democrats, this reaffirms who we are and what we must be as Democrats. We have long been called the party of the people, but many of these workers, people who once proudly voted for Democrats, now feel like they've been left behind, not just by Democrats, by all parties. So let's be able to stand with them to prove them wrong and show that we can make a stand together for the frontline people. I respectfully urge the DCCC to adopt this resolution and send a clear, united message. And the message is, those who protect and care for our most vulnerable deserve to be protected, cared for, and paid fairly themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Akbar. Is there any discussion on this resolution, members? Member Avalos.
Thank you, and thank you, Member Akbar, for bringing this forward. I would like to be a co-sponsor of it. I think that this is a vital necessity in San Francisco that we pay our frontline workers in an equitable way with city workers. That has been a stance that the nonprofit sector and the union sector has had for a number of years. It's led to a lot of organizing within the nonprofit sector. And it's also the best way that we can retain nonprofit workers and ensure they're trained very well as well. I serve on the board of HomeRise, so we have a lot of about 20 buildings that are in the heart of people who are seeking recovery, and in neighborhoods that see a lot of violence, a lot of people who are succumbing to addiction and in and out of addiction, and the job is very unsafe, and there's not enough recognition. And it's not just the pay that the workers get, it's the conditions that they work in as well. We require nonprofits to do incredible work to help heal people, and yet nonprofits are not given the enough resources to do that. And the largest resource that is not attended to is the people, the human capital, the human, people who make the connections with the people they're trying to heal. So it's really important that we support these measures, but this isn't just a resolution. The other ways that we have to fight for our workers is ensure that people have access to housing and healthcare and good education and good training. And that to me is part of what we have to build for our society, especially as we're seeing so much being taken away by our federal government and by fascism. So I think not to tie it to other measures, but later on the agenda today, I'll tie it to other measures that we have before us. I really appreciate you bringing this forward. And I appreciate all the workers who came out today after your long day of work to advocate for this measure as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Avalos. Is there any other comment or discussion?
The regional director would like to speak on this. I didn't get to speak on this earlier. I want to thank you for what you wrote and what you did and how you feel about this. It is the most important thing. I really think that we in this district here should make sure that the party knows about this, that this is what we want, and we want it to be put in maybe a resolution, but going more than a resolution to the party. This should be part of what the party says all the time. And I want to help you to get it put in, not only as a resolution, but to be part of what our party stands for. And I want to thank you so very much because it was such an important resolution.
Thank you, Regional Director Henning Kelly. If I could ask you to put the mic down gently. Thank you.
I'll do it again. I think Mike.
Members, a gentle reminder to please act professionally and with decorum. Thank you very much. Any other discussion on this topic, members? Seeing none. Oh, Member Coles, Director Coles.
I am co-sponsoring this in part because I was horrified to learn that an entry-level urban alchemy practitioner earns approximately the same amount as somebody who works at McDonald's in San Francisco. These individuals who are on the front line, as Member Avalos said, are engaging in incredibly risky work, and it makes no sense that their compensation does not reflect that level of risk. I'm proud that San Francisco has been a leader in embracing community-based response teams instead of sworn officers to address the crisis that we face on our streets, but these practitioners need to be fairly compensated.
Thank you very much. Members, any other discussion on this item, on this agenda item? Seeing no further hands, may I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Moved by Director Chen. Second? Anyone? Seconded by Member Dorsey. Director Chen, could you call the roll?
One moment, please. This is item 9, resolution on the murder of an urban alchemy employee and the need for enhanced support, safety, and pay equity for frontline workers in San Francisco, authored by Akbar. This is a motion to approve, moved by Chen. Calling the roll starting from Kawamuchi. Aye. Kawamuchi, aye. Chan.
Aye.
Chan, aye. Chandler. Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Coles. Aye. Coles, I. Dorsey. Dorsey, I. Galata. Galata, I. Gupta. Gupta, I. Hare. Hare, I. Ho.
Lanier,
Ho, I. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, I. Lai. Lai, I. Mahmood. Mahmood, I. Mar. Mar, I. Win is absent. Philhar. Philhar, I. Sanjarati. Sanjarati, I. Tu. Tu, I. Akbar. Akbar, I. Aliot appears absent. Arce. Arce, I. Avalos. Avalos, I. Ex officios. Pelosi. Pelosi, I. Mullen. Mullen, I. Kounalakis. Kounalakis, I. Ma. Ma, I. Cohen. Cohen, I. Wiener. Wiener, I. Haney. Haney, I. Stephanie. Stephanie, I. Chair Tung.
aye.
Tung, I. Have all those who wish to vote voted? There are 3 out of 32 total members. There are 3 absent. Of the remaining, out of 29, there are 29 ayes, 0 noes, 0 abstain. The motion passes.
Congratulations, Vice Chair Akbar. Anyone wanting to be a co-sponsor?
All right, keep them up.
Director, I see Director Lai, Member Chandler, Member 2, Member Kingsbury, Member Mahmood.
Can you please keep your hand up? Sorry. Okay, I have Mahmood, I have Mar, I have
Member Philhauer.
Kingsbury, I have 2, I have Chandler, I have Philhauer, I have Lai, I have Avalos. Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, moving on, I would like to take debate or discussion for items number 10 and 11 together, since they both are family zoning related, and they are opposite enough that we could not pass both as a body. So item number 10, I'll ask Director Chen to introduce, and then Member Mar, I will ask you to introduce number 11 afterwards, and then we will have debate.
One moment. Thank you, members. This is probably the spiciest item on this. These 2 are the spiciest items on the agenda. I will try to keep this introduction short. As you may know, this is the city is currently considering a zoning plan. It is it's motivated by a state process where the states require cities to plan for population growth and more housing every 8 years. And so this plan is coming before the Board of Supervisors, and I think needs to be passed by January 31st of this year at the absolute latest to remain in compliance. Very briefly what the plan, because San Francisco has added a lot of housing towards the east side of the city, such as Southland Market, Mission Bay, the Mission. This plan also is required by the state to be to affirmatively further fair housing, which is a fancy way of saying it must make sure that housing is sort of like placed equitably across both income by racial and income standards. And so what we see is that very quickly, the family zoning plan, which is proposed by Mayor Daniel Lurie, is to say we're trying to add more housing in San Francisco, to plan for more people. This is housing. Generally speaking, a lot of that housing is concentrated on commercial corridors and transit districts. The thinking being that that's probably where it makes the most sense to add population growth. It also, another part of the plan is that it does not change height limits for large areas, but it allows people to convert, for example, single-family homes into duplexes, triplexes, and for example, subdivide an existing home or change the housing where it is. Personally, I've been, much of my advocacy in San Francisco has been around housing because housing has been extremely expensive. I think folks who have been on the housing market because they've moved or because whether you're trying to buy a home, whether you're moving, lots of reasons to move, whether you're a young adult, let's say, trying to strike out on your own for the first time, whether you are, maybe you are a couple trying to add a child into your family and you need more space, whether you are going through a divorce, for example, or a separation, and you actually need to find a new place. Whether you need a change, whether you unfortunately lose your housing because of a fire or an eviction, you need to find a new space. And so, for better or for worse, the state of the world right now is that if you are moving, you are looking at housing that is almost entirely market rate, with the exception of low-income housing. And so it's thinking about how folks who move, who are changing their housing situation, are going here. And very briefly, I'd say that we think that more housing is good. We think that this is a thoughtful way of planning that housing. We think that it helps meet our goals to be fair across race and income. We also know that the consequences of not following state law could be catastrophic. Because of loss of local land use authority and also loss of critical funding for affordable housing and transportation. And as Democrats, I think we need to think one wake-up call is to think about how we need to deliver for San Franciscans and make sure that we are making sure that we are helping people. And one big issue is affordability. Rent being so high, not being able to find a place, and folks unfortunately falling into homelessness or having to leave the city. And I hope that by supporting this plan, by doing all we can, while also making sure that we uphold our very high protections for tenants, while making sure that we provide for accommodations and some resources and support for our small businesses, that we can do both. So thank you, colleagues. That was probably a little bit too long, but I appreciate your patience.
Thank you, Director Chen. Member Marr. I'm sorry, you need a mic.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Chair.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Chair Tung. I wanted to actually start by respectfully disagreeing with you that these two resolutions are somewhat in conflict, because I actually believe that my resolution, agenda item 11, is really not necessarily in conflict with agenda item 10 that's sponsored by you and Member Chen. In fact, I believe my resolution complements it. So, I expect resolution 10 to be adopted given the number of people that have members that have co-sponsored it. So that's obvious. But I think that the resolution that I put forward, it really just underscores that if we truly are committed to building a more equitable and sustainable San Francisco, that the mayor's family zoning plan must be amended to address significant concerns around affordability, tenant and small business protections, infrastructure needs in the neighborhoods, and also labor standards. And I also appreciate the public comments today highlighting other important issues like protecting our coastal zone protections, the car dependency of West Side residents due to the lack of public transit options on the West Side, and then also just disenfranchisement in this whole process, particularly for District 4 residents, given that we, and myself included, don't have a representative on the Board of Supervisors right now. So there's a lot of problems and issues that still need to be addressed in the mayor's family zoning plan. That's the role of the Board of Supervisors. And I know that that's happening as we talk. There was a 7-hour hearing on Monday about it, and there's going to be another very long hearing on November 3rd. So that's a process that's happening, and there will be many amendments that are very much needed to make sure that the family zoning plan is going to be the best possible plan that we can move forward, given the threats that the state is putting on us of not approving it. I also did want to say that I'm really proud to bring forward my resolution and thank my co-sponsors, members Avalos, Chan, Galata, and Nguyen. And we're urging the Board of Supervisors to amend the mayor's upzoning plan to address concerns raised by a very broad range of stakeholders in San Francisco. That includes the Race and Equity in All Planning Coalition, the San Francisco Labor Council, Small Business Forward, Neighbors United SF, SF Propel, Coalition for SF Neighborhoods, Sunset Forward, and countless other neighborhood groups and members citywide. And like so many people that spoke about this today during public comment, this is personal for me, just like it is, I think, for all of you. My family was fortunate to be able to buy our home in the Sunset 2 decades ago. And that's really the main reason why we were able to stay in San Francisco and raise my daughter here. But now my daughter, who's in college, and most of her friends are worried that they'll never be able to afford to live in the community that they grew up in and they were raised in. So that's really heartbreaking, and it's a story shared by thousands of families across the city. And the Sunset District in particular has long been a beacon of hope for working class families, including generations of immigrants from Europe and Asia who built stable lives here through hard work, good union jobs, and affordable homes. But today, working families and even much of the middle class are priced out of the west side of San Francisco. And unfortunately, the mayor's rezoning plan as written will do very little to change that. And because it mostly incentivizes expensive one-bedroom condos and apartments, which is what we've mostly built in San Francisco over the last decade on the east side of town. But these are not going to be the family-sized affordable homes that nurses, teachers, and service workers need to stay in our city and be able to raise their families here, just like the previous generations. But even worse, the plan's limited affordability framework, it directly contradicts the city's own 2020 Planning Commission resolution, which is centering racial and social equity in planning. And it also contradicts our state mandate arena that requires that 56% of all new homes built between 2023 and 2031, that's more than 46,000 out of 82,000 total units, be affordable to very low and moderate income households. The mayor's plan currently only requires 12 to 16% of new homes to be affordable to working families. So it therefore risks deepening economic exclusion, yes, on the west side and the north side of the city, and displacement on the north and west side of the city and throughout the city. So rather than actually solving our housing affordability crisis. So that's why this resolution that we're bringing forward, it aligns closely with amendments being advanced by several members of the Board of Supervisors to address these gaps. Supervisor and member Connie Chan, has proposed changes to the upzoning plan to strengthen demolition controls and ensure adequate infrastructure investments, among many other important amendments that she's certainly more qualified to describe. Supervisor Cheyenne Chen has introduced amendments to strengthen protections for displaced tenants. And Supervisor Myrna Malgar has proposed amendments to protect rent-controlled housing and support small businesses that are displaced. So these are sensible, community-centered improvements to the family zoning plan, and they deserve our support as a Democratic Party. And finally, I just wanted to say that West Side residents, despite a lot of negativity about NIMBYs and our community and our neighborhoods, we've been very willing to engage in responsible, inclusive planning. And one example is the Sunset Forward Strategies Report, which the Planning Commission unanimously endorsed as city policy in 2022. And our labor movement, including the Labor Council and the Building Trades Council, have also made clear that any zoning changes must protect rent-controlled housing, uphold union labor standards, and make new housing on city-owned land 100% affordable for working families. So these are democratic values equity, sustainability, and respect for working people. So tonight, I ask for your support to affirm that housing is a human right and not a speculative commodity here in San Francisco. And so let's stand with Supervisors Chan, and Melgar, and with the families and small businesses who make our city vibrant to ensure that San Francisco's next generation can afford to stay, live, and thrive here. So thanks, colleagues. I respectfully ask for your aye vote on resolution item number 11. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Marr. I'll open up the floor to any member who'd like to be recognized to make comment on either items number 10 or 11. Member Omlis.
Thank you. I'll save my comments to both. And I do have a question at the end. I live in District 11, and that's where I served on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and I've been there for about 26 years. We've seen an incredible amount of housing development that has happened, but not the kind of development you typically see. It's been a lot of houses that have rented out, created rooms out of garages and rented out space. And we're in desperate need of, greater housing development. But one of the big barriers is that we're a population that is pretty working class. And to build new luxury housing is a real challenge. To be able to finance it and still make it possible for working class people to live in. My daughter moved into a place that's in the zoning plan. It's a building that actually has been built up to about five stories on Ocean Avenue in Alamany, and wasn't able to maintain her living there. And it was not an affordable place. It was really challenging. It was a big hardship in our family. Now she's living on Market Street. These are places where we actually have built greater density, and they're not working for our family members, for our community members. And we're lining ourselves up to do this all over again. My biggest issue with these two resolutions, especially the mayor's family upzoning plan resolution, is that it assumes like this total top-down approach that is a mandate from the state. The state has not provided a financing mechanism for any of this stuff to work. So it's basically punishment that we're getting. I look at how the Trump administration is basically extorting, cities to back his immigration deportation dragnets by withholding funds. It's the same thing that the state of California is doing to us, saying that if you don't actually upzone, we're going to withhold money for housing and for transit. That's a form of extortion. And that is actually not creating the conditions where we're actually going to even build affordably. It's just creating these terrible conditions that we have to live by. But the biggest one, and the one that has been so significant over the course of the past, decade since World War II in San Francisco, is that communities have actually had a voice in development and that voice has resulted in tens of thousands of units of affordable housing being created, and programs and people recognizing that just the market alone is not enough to do that. This plan is not in that vein, and it's really trying to put like a square peg in a much smaller round hole. That's not going to work. We're basing it on faith that we're going to do this. It's called trickle-down economics, folks. And if you think about a champagne pyramid, you have one champagne glass on top and you have a base. If you have an endless supply of champagne going into that first glass, all of that champagne will eventually get to the bottom. But we actually don't have enough champagne for everyone. And that's a serious problem. So in District 11, there's a whole top-down plan to actually create a new ball field. Some rich people want to donate $40 million, but to accept it, we have to have their plan and not the community's plan. This is the same thing. And this is not democratic. We have a lot of people who are leaving the Democratic Party because they don't believe that our governments work for us. They don't believe that our party is working for us. And when we pass things like this that are going to be completely unpopular, they're not going to work for us. And lastly, I'll end with this. This is comments from Mayor Lurie the day of the recall election. He says this: I want to thank Supervisor Joel Engardio for his years of service and commitment to San Francisco. And I want to thank all the District 4 residents who made their voices heard and participated in Tuesday's special election. As I campaigned for mayor last year, I heard countless West Side families say San Franciscans have been feeling for years that their government is doing things to them, not with them, and that government is not working to make their lives any better. That's why my administration has continued to communicate openly and transparently with San Franciscans on a wide range of important issues, from public safety and the behavioral health crisis to affordable housing and public space. Our mayor is not living up to his words, and the family upzoning plan without amendments for small businesses, for labor, for affordability is not listening to the public. And we can't just put words on the work that's not being done to make it better. We actually have to do the work itself. And that's actually making those investments happen and making sure the community has a voice in shaping how our city serves our communities. Thank you for listening, and I'm sorry for going on so long.
Thank you, Member Avalos. Any other members wishing to speak on this topic? Member Weiner by proxy.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Laura Foote. I moved here about 10 years ago as the less employable trailing spouse of my husband at the time, and worked entry-level sales jobs for a while here in San Francisco before getting addicted to the nonsense that is San Francisco local politics, and getting into the pro-housing movement. And eventually left my tech husband to marry an affordable housing developer and live in a lap of luxury with him in a one-bedroom with his ex-wife living in the living room, while the two of us lived in the room. And so I'm very invested in housing supply. I have deep roots in saying that we need more apartments, and I would put some expletives next to that. Though Allie is lovely and she still cuts the hair of our two young babies. But it's kind of crazy that, we had two people who were the title executive director, and then Allie, who was a hairdresser and still is, and she was, we couldn't ask her to leave. That would have meant that she would have been out of her community, unable to be able to find a place in the Bay Area that was affordable to her. And that was the story of basically everyone I was friends with. And I think we all have these stories. Who have we lost over the years? And I'll tell you that literally none of the people I met in my first year in San Francisco are here today. They are all 100% of them relocated somewhere else that was more affordable. And so the family zoning plan for me also is about saying where do we want a city where people can put down roots again, where they can grow, where they can thrive. And so I think one of the things, I heard a lot of the sort of concerns people have, and I think a lot of them are sort of valid, except that then we have to think about these as whole programs, as what is the whole city we're going to build together. One of the concerns people have is that the infrastructure is crumbling. And that is a completely valid concern. Our infrastructure is crumbling. One of the ways that we pay for increased infrastructure is developers, the taxes and fees we put on developers when they build new housing. That's going to be a great new source of revenue for us. It's also true that the additional residents are going to help us pay for making our infrastructure better. And also by voting for important, I hope we're all going to be voting for the transit bond that's going to be coming up. I think it's going to be number 26. So hopefully this body can do a resolution to support that pretty soon. Why I want us to pass a local plan and not have the state take away local control, because that's sort of what will happen. If we don't pass a local rezoning plan, the state steps in. And that means, and I know Avlo said we don't get a lot of funding from the state, but factually we get about, the state of California is distributing about $3 billion in affordable housing funding that we get portions of for our affordable housing. And we need that money, and that money gets cut off if we are out of compliance. The money that we need for our transit agencies gets cut off if we do not pass a planning that's up to snuff by the state. And they have just sent us a letter telling us that we are on the line. If we reduce the amount of zoning in our current proposed plan by a hair, they will drop the hammer on us. That letter has been received by the supervisors, and that's why the mayor has directed them that any place you're bringing the zone capacity down, you got to figure out where you're going to put it up, right? And that's why I think that we need to give them sort of our full-throated support. That there are going to be amendments. One of the amendments that I think for people who are really concerned about rent-controlled units, one of the great amendments that's just been added is that any 3-unit or more building that's rent-controlled is going to be permanently not applicable for the upzoning. And that's an amendment that YIMBY is supporting. It's already really hard to tear down rent-controlled housing. That's a good thing to just sort of add in. There's also going to be programs that are in addition to the zoning plan that are going to help small businesses. There's going to be a fund to help with anybody who needs to relocate. And we should keep adding those ideas, but that doesn't mean we don't do the rezoning, right? We continue to legislate. In 2021, we received our regional housing goal number. That was the beginning of this process. And at that point, we had to make a local plan. 2023, we passed the housing element, which the Board of Supervisors all got together and put a lot of these principles together. And that has a lot of the things that we're all still complaining about are like planks in that overall big picture plan. And so there's going to be more legislation about increasing funding for affordable housing, increasing small business protections. All of that stuff is going to continue to come down the pike, and we should continue to support it. And it doesn't mean zoning is not a complete thing, right? Zoning is what can we build? And we have to be able to say, actually, we don't want mansion zoning. Right now, we have single family homes, so you can build up to 40 feet. You can pop out, and Avlos is complaining, which I love, right? Complaining about the people who do addition after addition after addition on that single family home. And I think that there's some validity to that we should be able to turn that into a 4-plex. We should be able to turn that into a 6-plex. We should be able to, within the existing envelope all over the city, we know that there are illegal units that have been added in garages, and we should legalize those. We should make it okay to take your mansion and turn it into a 4-unit building. And that's like a big picture of what this zoning plan is about. I should stop talking. Everyone wants to go home. Anything else we want to add?
Thank you, Member Weiner. Members, anyone else who would like to be recognized or discussion on this topic? Vice Chair Hare.
Hello, testing, thank you. I will be supporting the resolution around family zoning. I do think that the resolutions can be complementary. I think the only, one of the only things that gives me pause about your resolution, Member Marr, is the word reject. Because I do care about our affordable housing money, I do care about our transportation money, and so that's the one fundamental word that I think is in opposition. There's oppose and there's support, and those are opposite words. And I believe that San Francisco, all of San Francisco, is in desperate need of new housing, but especially on the west side where so little has been built, yet this is where so many of our amazing outdoor spaces and parks are. This is where some of our best schools are, and this is where so many of our resources are. So one of the things that I love about San Francisco, and I know many of us do, is its diversity. We have vibrant Chinatown, we have incredible cultural resources in the Mission, we have amazing outdoor spaces and small businesses and family restaurants all over the west side. But unfortunately, while our neighborhoods, languages, cuisines, and religions are bountiful and diverse, our housing is not. Most of San Francisco's land is still zoned for single-family homes. That's not diverse. That's not vibrant. That's not differentiated the way that the people of San Francisco are. And this policy to make most of San Francisco zoned for single-family homes was a policy that was written a century ago to exclude people. It was designed to keep out renters, to keep out immigrants, to keep out Black and Asian American families, to keep out Jewish people, to keep out LGBTQ people. There are deeds in this city that explicitly ban members of these communities from living in and owning homes across our city. And that history still shapes who gets to live where today. The family zoning plan that we're here to discuss today and is still in negotiations with the Board of Supervisors is one small but meaningful step towards changing that. It won't solve everything, as Laura said, but it helps bend the arc towards justice. It opens the West Side to families, to working people, and to the diversity that defines San Francisco. Before the family zoning plan, during the family zoning plan, and after the family zoning plan, we will continue to fight for affordable housing dollars, which I support. I'd love to see more affordable housing across San Francisco and on the West Side. We will continue to fight for more transportation service, so folks are not having to rely on cars when maybe they're unaffordable, maybe they want to drive them. And we will continue to fight for stronger infrastructure. These efforts do not stop today, and they do not stop with the passage of the family zoning plan. But there are things that do stop if we don't pass the family zoning plan. Our affordable housing dollars from the state, stop. Our transportation dollars from the state, stop. And our say in what housing goes where and when stops as the builder's remedy goes into effect. But we're not here today to govern San Francisco. We're here today because we're representing Democrats and the Democratic Party of San Francisco. The Democratic Party should stand for lowering housing costs, not perpetuating scarcity. And the Democratic Party should stand for inclusion, not exclusion. And the Democratic Party should stand for progress, not the status quo. And as Democrats, these are all the things that we should stand for. And welcoming new homes, new people, and that diversity that comes with that is where the Democrats should go. And that's how we make San Francisco a city where everyone is welcome.
Thank you, Vice Chair Hare. Members, anyone else? Member Gupta.
Thank you, Chair Tom. I really appreciate the dialogue and the public comments expressed. What I heard in all of them was how much people care about the city, their community, and their neighbors. And I see that in both resolutions as well. I will be supporting resolution number 10 and opposing 11 because it sounds like a lot of those that are against the family zoning plan have been on that provided public comment, which I appreciate, have been on the West Side for a while, some even impressively going on over a century, and want to preserve the memories that they've developed. I live in the Sunset, and I too look forward to building that with my family, those same kind of memories. My family, my parents weren't even allowed to come to this country till the mid-60s. And, but I hope my daughter has the same chance that many of the folks that provided public comment have had, or perhaps their children had, to be able to afford a place. That's our dream. As a school board member, I hear over and over how expensive housing is and how it has kept out or has prevented school district staff from being able to afford to live here. Having worked in the largest subsidized affordable housing organization in the country,
the best way to build affordable housing is to create naturally occurring affordable housing, which happens when we have enough housing stock. When new housing was built, for example, when I lived in the Richmond, that made it possible for my wife and I to fortunately buy our first starter closet at a price that went down for the existing units when the new units came on. This is one of the best solutions when we have naturally occurring affordable housing. This is one of the best solutions for workforce housing because overall subsidized workforce housing has not been as successful as it should be. It's incredibly expensive for the city. It takes away resources that we could otherwise utilize to address transit issues, to build 100% affordable housing for those that are perhaps at a 30% area median income. And we've tried, what we've tried to do is we've made it more difficult to build housing. This has led to an exodus, especially of people of color. For example, in the 2010s, the San Francisco African American population showed an annual decrease of 10%. We need to do something different. And honestly, we've made it incredibly difficult for folks to build housing, which therefore increases the cost of housing. And then what we end up with is unfortunately just luxury condos. Where we can agree is no one wants a huge skyscraper on the beach. I certainly don't want that in my neighborhood in the Sunset. But if we don't comply with the state, we open the doors for these kind of skyscrapers. And if our affordable housing funding stops, that's a huge detriment to the need that we have. The affordable housing organization I worked for had a wait list that was 15 years long. 15 years. If we stop the funding for affordable housing because we do not comply, we're basically rolling the dice for all our kids and all our futures in terms of who gets housing and who doesn't.
Thank you, Member Gupta. Vice Chair Calhoun.
Thank you. So I'll be short. I'll try. But I have a couple of things I want to say. So I'll be supporting item 10. I think there's a lot really to appreciate about the work that has gone in on this. I've been engaged on the zoning for a couple of years now through multiple mayoral administrations. These folks, and I sat through that 7-hour hearing, man, like we are really lucky, honestly, here in San Francisco to have an engaged planning department, an engaged mayor's office, and engaged supervisors who are listening to the community, who are taking into account and really having like solid, excellent debate. Like I have a 46 county-wide perspective on housing politics. Like it's screwed up in a lot of places, right? So like we're doing like pretty good work here, and we should be appreciative of that. And I really want to thank like everybody. And I know there's folks in this room who have been really engaged on this, and I think that's really important. A couple things that I also want to add, like for this, my perspective on this is of course driven by labor and labor policy. I represent the Carpenters Union. Carpenters Union backed this. We've received public comment. We've also received supportive comment from the Laborers Union, from Operating Engineers Local 3. These are the unions that are actually building housing and organizing residential construction workers in the city who are most engaged in this, have the most at stake, and are supporting this because this plan will unlock opportunities to build housing that, because of various state laws have been pushing really hard, are going to come with very strong labor standards. Whether that's union jobs or not, it is going to uplift the entire residential construction workforce, a workforce that is primarily 100% immigrant workforce, in many cases a hyper-exploited workforce that is working in the underground economy with just, it's just a nasty industry. I can go into more of it, right? But this will lift up those workers, and I think it's critically important that we recognize that this plan has done that. The mayor's office has been incredibly thoughtful on getting language that is going to smooth that out and have strong labor standards attached to that. The other thing I want to add, and it's just a personal note, but it was raised by a couple of our public commenters, and I really appreciate it. I live in the Richmond It's the best neighborhood in the city. No offense to anybody else, but and it's also the best neighborhood to raise a kid. So many of you know my 8-year-old daughter. She's a good hang, and you know, I really want my mom to move here, right? So she lives in New York. She's 75, and you know, we live in a rent-controlled place in the city, in Richmond, and I would love her to move to our neighborhood, to be closer to her only son and her only granddaughter. She's, you know, got challenges like a lot of folks do. She doesn't need assisted living. She doesn't need independent living, which, by the way, if you look at the prices of those places in the city, because we looked at some, run between $8,000 and $12,000 a month, and that is not rent controlled. She doesn't need any of that, but she needs a goddamn elevator. And if there are 10 elevators in the Richmond district, I'd be shocked. She needs the housing that we have functionally made illegal on the west side of the city for the last 50 years. And that's messed up, right? Like, you know, to me, it's just like we can, you know, there's a lot of details and fine points to go into, but at the end of the day, it's like we need housing choices for everybody who wants to be here, from our children to our elderly parents and other folks who want to be close to their families and just need a simple, accessible, normal-ass apartment building that other cities have. And we're probably too late for her, but maybe I'll be able to get into an elevator building at some point. So I'll be voting yes for this. Thank you for those bringing this, and thank you all for this discussion and the hard work on this. I thought this was really interesting tonight. Thanks.
I hope your mom gets her elevator for Christmas. Anyone else who would like to have comment or discussion? Member Director Coles.
I want to talk about 2005. That was when Katrina devastated New Orleans. The Chronicle ran a cover story about the readiness of San Francisco for a catastrophic earthquake. Well, here we are, 2 decades later, and we're still not ready. And the reason is our first responders do not live in San Francisco. And one of the things that Chronicle story talked about was the likelihood that when we have the major earthquake, the big one, our 2 bridges will likely collapse, the Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge. And when that happens, it's important to remember that 8 out of 10 police officers do not live here. 7 out of 10 firefighters do not live here. We will not be safe when we have a catastrophic earthquake in San Francisco. And the reason they don't live here is because of the price of housing. I believe, like Member Gupta, in naturally occurring affordable housing. And so one of the reasons I will be supporting the mayor's family upzoning plan is because I believe it is the answer to paving the way to more affordable housing so that we can feel and be safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Coles. Any other member wishing to be recognized on this, on item 10 or 11? All right, seeing none, let us take item number 10 first. And Director Chen, would you call the roll? I'm sorry, I missed a step. The parliamentarian whispered in my ear. Is there a motion to adopt item number 10?
All right.
I think that was moved by Member Weiner, seconded by Member Gupta. Director Chen, will you call the roll?
One moment. This is regarding item 10, resolution in support of the family zoning plan to make housing more affordable and preserve local control, authored by Chen and Tung. There is a motion moved by Weiner, to approve the resolution. Starting the roll, let's see, from Chandler.
Yes.
Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Coles.
Aye.
Coles, aye. Dorsey.
Aye.
Aye. Galata.
No.
Galata, no. Gupta.
Yes.
Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho.
Aye.
Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar.
No.
Mar, no. Win is absent. Philhauer. Philhauer, aye. Sanjirardi.
Aye.
Sanjirardi, aye. 2. 2 abstain. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Aliotopir is absent. Arce.
Aye.
Arce, aye. Avalos.
No.
Avalos, no. Calamucci.
Aye.
Calamucci, aye. Chan.
No.
Chan, no. Ex officios, Pelosi. Pelosi abstain. Mullen.
No.
Mullen, no. Kunalakis. Kunalakis abstain. Ma.
Aye.
Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener.
Aye.
Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Chair Tung.
Aye.
Tung, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Out of 32 total members, there are 3 abstaining, 3 absent. Of the remaining 26, there are 21 for aye, 5 for no. The motion passes.
Congratulations, Director Chen. Thank you, everyone. We will now be taking up item number 11. Is there a motion to, what would the motion be?
Let's vote.
Motion to vote on, thank you, Member Avalos. Motion to vote on item number 11, which is Member Marr's resolution. Moved by Member Galata. Is there a second? What? Oh, I guess motion, that this would be. Motion to support. So motion to pass the resolution, motion to support the resolution? Right, okay, so Member Galata is moving to support Member Marr's resolution. Yes, yes. Okay, and the second is by Member Avalos. Director Chen, would you call the roll, please?
Item 11, resolution urging the San Francisco Board of Supervisors to reject the mayor's family zoning plan unless amended, authored by Mar. This is a motion by Galata to approve the resolution, seconded by Avalos. Calling the roll, starting from one moment. Okay, starting from Chen. Chen is no. Coles.
No.
Coles, no. Dorsey.
No.
Dorsey, no. Galata.
Aye.
Galata, aye. Gupta.
No.
Gupta, no. Hare. Hare, no. Ho. Proxy Coles.
No.
Ho is no. Kim is absent. Kingsbury.
No.
Kingsbury, no. Lai.
No.
Lai, no. Mahmood. Mahmood, no. Mar.
Aye.
Mar, aye. Win is absent. Philhauer.
No.
Philhauer, no. Sanjirardi.
No.
Sanjirardi, no. 2. 2 abstain. Akbar. Akbar, no. Aliotopir is absent. Arce.
No.
Arce, no. Avalos.
Yes.
Avalos, aye. Calamucci.
No.
Calamucci, no. Chan.
Aye.
Chan, aye. Chandler.
Nay.
Chandler, no. Ex officios. Pelosi. Pelosi, abstain. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kunalakis. Kunalakis, abstain. Ma.
No.
Ma, no. Cohen.
No.
Cohen, no. Wiener.
Laura.
Wiener, proxy foot.
No. No.
Wiener, no. Haney. Haney, no. Stephanie. Stephanie, abstain. Chair Tung.
No.
Tung, no. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Out of 32 total members on the body, there are 4 abstaining and 3 absent, leaving 25. Of those 25, there are 5 for aye and 20 for no. The motion fails.
Thank you. Director Chen. Moving on to agenda item number 12. This is a resolution opposing the deployment of the National Guard to San Francisco, which is timely. Member Kingsbury, for you and I to bring this forward. So go ahead.
Let's get rid of this feedback first if we can.
This is like changing antenna wires on a TV.
You're doing great.
Great job. All right. So when I talked to Chair Tung about bringing this resolution, we had been discussing it in light of the CEO of Salesforce's comments. And the hope was that this was just going to pass us by. And now it's a reality. And in light of that, I do have an update that I would like to make to the resolution. So I would like to amend my own resolution. And Member Chen, would this be the time that I would read the updated version so that people could hear what the amendment is? Or do I give comments and then read it?
I think, Member Kingsbury, that you should go ahead and tell us what the amendments are so that we don't have discussion on something that is not going to be what we vote on.
Okay. So what we've chosen to do is add federal immigration agents and opposing ICE being deployed to San Francisco to this resolution in light of the news that we have today. So let me read the resolution, and then I have a couple of things to say about it. I will try and make it quick because it is already 10 o'clock, people. But I think this is important. So the resolution will now be named, or in light of the amendment, Resolution Opposing the Deployment of the National Guard or Federal Immigration Agents to San Francisco. Whereas public safety remains San Francisco's top priority and the city has made measurable progress towards it, with violent crime down 19% and property crime down 25% in the first half of 2025, visible challenges with street conditions, open-air drug use, and theft require continued focus and local accountability. And whereas San Francisco has used technology and non-sworn personnel to help compensate for police staffing shortages to address quality of life crimes and open-air drug activity in some neighborhoods, and elected officials have prioritized police recruitment, retention, and community-based public safety strategies that are producing real results with residents and visitors alike, reporting improving conditions. Whereas the California National Guard has historically played a secondary role to support state and local efforts on disaster relief, wildfire prevention, and targeted law enforcement investigations, demonstrating the importance of collaboration between state and local leadership. And whereas the federal government's recent deployment of more than 100 immigration enforcement agents, including ICE and CBP personnel, to the Bay Area for operations targeting San Francisco's residents, an unnecessary, fear-inducing, and counterproductive intervention that undermines community trust, disrupts local safety priorities, and risks civil rights violations. And whereas the presence of federal immigration forces or the National Guard for non-emergency enforcement in San Francisco, regardless of coordination with state or local agencies, constitutes a harmful escalation that disregards local authority, erodes public trust, and threatens to reverse the city's progress on public safety and neighborhood recovery. Therefore, be it resolved that the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee opposes any proposal to deploy the California National Guard, any other state's National Guard, or federal immigration enforcement personnel, including ICE and CBP, to San Francisco, and be it further resolved that the committee reaffirms its support for local efforts to improve public safety through evidence-based policing, prevention, and community investment, and rejects the federalized or militarized interventions as substitutes for responsible leadership. So that is the updated resolution to include the language on ICE. That would be I would love if folks would be in support of the amended version of the resolution. I know we'll have a few votes on that. Like I said, I was hoping that we wouldn't actually have to have that when we got to today, that this wouldn't be the most present thing on our minds. But I think it's the thing that all of us are thinking about as we go into the end of this week and this weekend. We don't know what is going to face us. But what we do know is that we are now faced with a potential occupation by an increasingly fascist administration. And that is frightening. And it is our job as a body to stand up and take a stand against what we are seeing, the erosion of democracy. When I started thinking about this, something else I thought about is we aren't going to be meeting for 3 months. The next time we're going to meet is January. And I thought about how much things have shifted in the last 3 months and the last 10 months as to what is seen as acceptable, what is seen as the norm. If you had asked us in March if occupying cities was something that we would just hear about in passing and the president would muse about and then armed forces would be there, I don't think any of us would have thought that that was the norm. If you'd asked about the criminalization of LGBT folks in December, I don't think any of us would have thought that that would be the norm. If you had asked about tearing down part of the White House, even a week ago, I don't think any of us would have thought that that would have been the norm. I don't know what our city will look like in 3 months. I don't know what our country will look like in 3 months, but what I do know is that we need to take a stand against this and we need to do it right now. So I am asking that everyone here support this resolution because I think it's something that we as Democrats can stand behind. Because to paraphrase Dante, the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who stay neutral in times of moral crisis. This is a time of moral crisis, and it is time for us to take a stand.
Thank you, Member Kingsbury. Very eloquently said, and obviously I'm co-authoring this with you and have pulled back our delegates to the executive board this weekend because of the very important change and the shift in the mood by the Trump administration towards our dear city, one that we all love. I think it's critically important that we pass this resolution and that we stand at the ready to take action tomorrow, the next day, this weekend, and at any time in order to protect democracy and San Francisco. So, Vice Chair Hare.
Thank you, Member Kingsbury and Chair Tung, for bringing this forward. I wanted to share an anecdote of an experience I had last week. So I started my career in immigration advocacy and helping folks get asylum and green cards and work visas and starting a life in the United States from all over the world. And that's where I started my career in public service that has led me to this table here today. And last week I had the honor, or perhaps the dishonor, of having the opportunity to tour a federal building which has an ICE facility in it. And I know my colleague, Member Dorsey, has done the same, and others as well. And what I saw was extremely disturbing. Not only were people being told one thing and then that changing, families were being separated. But one of the most disturbing things I saw was the room where people were being quote unquote temporarily detained. It's an office building where the dividers of the cubicles have been taken out. And the law states that folks can only be held there for up to 12 hours. That law is not being followed. Folks are being held there for 72 hours, sometimes more, until they can be transferred into a detention facility in Dublin, California. And while that is disturbing enough, the lights in this office building do not turn off. There are no beds. There is no bathroom. There are no windows. So there are men and women mixed together. There are children and adults mixed together. Meals are infrequent, if ever provided. And I am disturbed by this, not only because it is innately disturbing, but also because it violates the international laws against human torture. And that is happening in downtown San Francisco. And so I want everyone to realize that these violations are not abstract. and that this administration that we are all living under is happy to break international law on torture in our fine city. So that is just one of the many reasons I'll be supporting this resolution, and one of the many reasons I am proud to be a Democrat and proud to stand up for our democracy every day. And I'm glad to be serving with all of you on the right side of history.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair Hare. Any other member wishing to be recognized? Member Weiner?
Just putting sort of two additional things on people's radar. So one of the things that I think are pretty concrete rumors, things that ICE has been saying that they're going to be doing, is going in and doing inspections in affordable housing buildings. And HUD does regular inspections of affordable housing buildings. And what we've heard is that immigration officials will be accompanying those inspections, going into units and trying to pull people out of those units. I don't think we know yet how plausible that is, whether it's going to be happening, but it's something that I think everybody who manages affordable housing buildings should be aware of. I know the city's contacting people, but I think we all have personal networks as well. The other one is targeting, Home Depot, places where they know, and I think we all know that. And I do want to say, like, the perspective I'm bringing into this, and I think this is reasonable for the next week, where we're going to see an increase and a spike, is a sort of mitigation mindset. How do we minimize the number of people they are physically able to grab? How do we document? How do we know and identify who the individuals who get grabbed are, so that their families can be contacted, so that that is documented? I think that we all are going to have to do our part in the next week. And I think as many people as we can prevent from being brought up into this horrific system, that is a tangible thing that individuals can do. And I think even we could give some guidance on as a party about how to engage in that kind of resistance. And I'm sure many people at this table are going to be engaging in that over the next week. So thanks.
Thank you, Member Weiner. Any other member wishing to be recognized? Member Ma. Sorry, you look different today.
So I'm a U.S. Navy veteran, proudly served. And when I wore the uniform of this country with the flag on my shoulder, the idea of ever being deployed to a U.S. city was absolutely unthinkable. I want to thank Member Kingsbury for bringing this measure forward, because I cannot imagine serving a uniform today and what it must be like for a guardsman who may be deployed to our cities, a service member who may be asked to perform an illegal order overseas. I would ask that this body keep those men and women in mind. They're being asked to do unthinkable things. And, but we absolutely do not need any Humvees on our hills here in San Francisco.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. So members, if there are no further comments at this time, may I have a motion to adopt this resolution? Moved by Member Chandler, seconded. Oh, I'm sorry, no, oh, no, you're proposing the amendment yourself. Even I don't need the parliamentarian to tell me that. And I accept the amendments. Thank you. A second by Member Koulounakis. Let's do a roll call vote. It was moved by Member Chandler, seconded by Member Koulounakis. Thank you.
Yes, this is for the record. This is item 12, resolution opposing the new title is something along the lines.
Resolution opposing the deployment of the National Guard or federal immigration agents to San Francisco. Motherfucker.
Thank you. Let's see. And then, so item 12, this is a, thank you. This is a motion to adopt moved by Chandler as amended, calling the roll starting from Coles. Coles, aye. Dorsey. Dorsey, aye. Galata. Galata, aye. Gupta. Gupta, aye. Hare. Hare, aye. Ho. Ho, aye. Kim is absent. Kingsbury. Kingsbury, aye. Lai. Lai, aye. Mahmood. Mahmood, aye. Mar. Mar, aye. Wynn is absent. Billhauer. Billhauer, aye. Sanjurati. Sanjurati, aye. Two, aye. Akbar. Akbar, aye. Aliadopir is absent. Arce. Arce, aye. Avalos. Avalos, aye. Kalamuchi. Kalamuchi, aye. Chan. Chan, aye. Chandler. Chandler, aye. Chen is aye. Ex officios. Pelosi. Pelosi, aye. Mullen. Mullen, aye. Kunalakis. Kunalakis, aye. Ma. Ma, aye. Cohen. Cohen, aye. Wiener. Wiener, aye. Haney. Haney, aye. Stephanie. Stephanie, aye. Chair Tung.
Aye.
Tung, aye. Have all those who wish to vote voted? Out of 32 total members, there are 3 absent, leaving and 0 abstaining, leaving 29. Of those 29, there are 29 aye and 0 no. The motion passes.
Thank you, members. If you would like to co-sponsor, send a message to Director Chin. Oh, anyway, okay, raise your hand. We'll just name them off real quick. Gupta to Kalamuchi, Arce. Yes. All right. Moving on to item number 13. This is new business. Any new business? No new business. Item number 14, which is adjournment, as is our custom in celebration or in memoriams. I propose that we adjourn the meeting in memoriam, in memory of Joey Alexander, the Urban Alchemy worker who was murdered in Civic Center Plaza. And Vice Chair here.
Thank you for that memoriam. I'd like to adjourn in anticipated celebration of the Democratic nominee for mayor of New York winning. He's very much up in the polls. And I want our party to send him all the luck he can get.
Member Dorsey.
Two people who I hope that we could memorialize. One is a former boss of mine, Arlo Smith, who served as district attorney from 1980 to 1996. He was a statewide attorney general, Democratic nominee for attorney general in 1990. He passed away earlier this month. He was 98 years old. And Terrence Allen, who is a fixture in the LGBTQ plus community and cannabis activist and nightlife activist, force of nature. He will be missed.
And we add Bob Mulholland, please.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Bob Mulholland,
Just this week. 2 days.
Bob Mulholland is a veteran and somebody who was just a great leader in California, the California Democratic Party. Really sorry.
Thank you, Member Dorsey and Member Regional Director Henry Kelly. Member Cohen.
I would like to adjourn in memory of Miss Major. I mean, one of the last living legacies going back to the Stonewall Rebellion. I'm a titan in trans and Black and queer activism, and we will definitely miss her presence.
Thank you for that. Anyone else in celebration, in memoriam? With that, do I need a motion to adjourn, or can I just adjourn the meeting? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Just do it. Just do it.